Chapter 757. Earl Fortuny stared at Yang Feng with deep apprehension in his eyes. How could that good-for-nothing Fifuli provoke a powerful enemy like Warren? Damn it, if I had known that this wretched Gold-Horned was so strong, I wouldn't have made an enemy out of him. Now that I've become his enemy, I must kill him. Otherwise, there will be no end of trouble in the future. Bloody Battlefield Plain was a place with the highest mortality rate in the Endless Abyss, but it was also a place where abyssal fiends evolved the fastest. In Bloody Battlefield Plain, as long as an abyssal fiend didn't die, then a marquis-rank abyssal fiend lord would be born at a terrifying speed. Of course, Bloody Battlefield Plain was extremely dangerous. Even Viscount-rank and Earth-rank abyssal fiend lords could die in Bloody Battlefield Plain if they were the slightest bit careless. Many Viscount-rank and Earth-rank abyssal fiend lords had just fought a powerful enemy, but then were devoured by ordinary fiends and devils. As such, it was very difficult to give birth to a marquis-rank abyssal fiend. However, with Yang Feng's fierce battle prowess, it was only a matter of time before he promoted to an Earth-rank abyssal fiend lord. Earl Fortuny's killing intent surged, and he didn't want to let Yang Feng leave alive. Curse! The infernal demonic sword in Yang Feng's hand opened an eye, and a grey ray of light shot out and landed on Earl Fortuny. Weakness, dizziness, and other negative states appeared on Earl Fortuny. Idiot! Curses are ineffective against abyssal fiends. Earl Fortuny roared, and abyssal demonic chi gushed out, immediately dispersing the layer of grey light on his body. Abyssal fiends were dark demonic creatures formed from the negative force of countless planes. Their essence was an aggregation of all kinds of negative force. They were proficient in curses, but the effects of curses that represented negative force had little effect on them. The purification effect of God's divine force was the most terrifying weapon to kill them. Bind! The infernal demonic sword opened another eye, and black runes formed chains that shot out like demonic snakes and wrapped around Earl Fortuny. Shatter! With a roar, Yang Feng poured the abyssal force inside him into the infernal demonic sword, and then suddenly slashed at Earl Fortuny along with a grey sword ray. Earl Fortuny's eyes shimmered fiercely, and monstrous demonic chi soared into the sky and burst the binding ropes. Suddenly, his hand stabbed towards Yang Feng's heart lightning fast. In an instant, Earl Fortuny's right claw strangely expanded and pierced through Yang Feng's left chest. Count Fortuny was stunned for a moment, and a look of fear flashed in his eyes. No heart. What happened? The grey sword light flashed and directly cut Earl Fortuny in two. Yang Feng extended his hand, and a fearsome devour force formed a whirlpool that enveloped Earl Fortuny and frantically devoured his power. At the same time, he took out a high-grade soul stone and chewed it. What's going on? His heart, where is his heart? Dumbfounded, the abyssal fiends watched this scene with shock in their eyes. The source of abyssal fiends' power was the heart. Once the heart was broken, an abyssal fiend would lose its power and die. When fiends attack each other, their target is the other party's heart. Now that Yang Feng's left chest has been crushed, yet he can still fight, this is simply incredible. After devouring Earl Fortuny's power, Yang Feng consumed 3 high-grade soul stones in a row, and a tremendous amount of abyssal force poured into him, allowing him to break through the bottleneck and promote to an Earl-rank abyssal fiend. What a fast speed! He promoted to an Earl-rank abyssal fiend lord just like that. What a scary guy! The eyes of the abyssal fiend lords watching this side filled with apprehension. No one dared to provoke Yang Feng again. In the Endless Abyss, the strong are respected. Now that Yang Feng is an Earl-rank abyssal fiend, he has become one of the strongest experts in Bloody Battlefield Plain. No abyssal fiend lord will provoke him again for no reason. At this moment, the several abyssal fiend earls who were on good terms with Earl Fortuny secretly made up their minds not to become enemies with Yang Feng. Yang Feng smiled at the fortress complex and uttered, "I am Earl Warren. I am a peace-loving person who likes to make friends. Today, Earl Fortuny is courting death, so I am sending him a level. By the way, I will be staying here for a while. I need a lot of materials to refine a fallen angel pool. If you have materials to refine a top fallen angel pool, You can come and trade with me. The materials to refine a fallen angel pool are the corpses of transcendent ranked powerhouses of Abyss and Infernal Abyss. The traces of dark energy extracted from the corpses are the source of power for fallen angels. Of course, once a top fallen angel pool is established, it will automatically absorb all kinds of dark negative energy and condense it into the dark energy needed for a fallen angel body. At that time, there will be no need for the corpses of transcendent rank powerhouses of Abyss and Infernal Abyss. The corpses of transcendent rank powerhouses of Abyss and Infernal Abyss are top alchemy materials as well as materials to refine various secret treasures of darkness. If Yang Feng didn't come to the Abyss in person, it would be very difficult to obtain a large number of corpses of transcendent rank powerhouses of Abyss and Infernal Abyss. Does he want to refine a fallen angel pool to build his own fallen angel legion? How can it be so easy to build a fallen angel pool? It requires not only materials unique to the Abyss, but also a large number of resources from the main plane. The Abyssal Fiend Lords focused their gazes on Yang Feng with peculiar looks in their eyes. The Abyssal Fiends are well aware of the strength of fallen angels. Besides, they are different from the cunning, changeable, and chaotic Abyssal Fiends who can betray at any time. The created fallen angels were also loyal and devoted to the Creator. Only in some special circumstances would they betray the Creator. However, the production of a fallen angel pool requires a large amount of abyssal resources as well as various resources from the main plane. Many of these resources can only be produced in the divine countries of strong divine force rank gods. Therefore, there are not many abyssal lords who have a fallen angel pool in the endless abyss. Only the Abyssal Grand Duke Poidal of the 666th floor is famous for his fallen angel legion. He has one of the top fallen angel pools in the endless abyss, and his fallen angel legion has even more amazing accomplishments. They have even besieged and slain warlock monarch rank existences. Yang Feng smiled faintly. Without paying any attention to the Abyssal Fiend Lords, he sent an army to occupy the castle of the Abyssal Fiend Lord Earl Fortuny, took control of everything about him, and took root in the bloody battlefield plain. The Tsangji Plain, the Bright Moon Province, in a secret room of a sect. Yang Feng's true body retracted his attention from the avatar. At present, this is as far as I can go. Abyssal Fiend Earl rank is already the limit of the avatar. Although I can use the resources here to enhance his strength, but this will leave behind traces. It's not good for leaving a way out. A crafty rabbit has 3 burrows. The endless abyss is extremely vast. At the time, even the 8 warlock emperors failed to completely conquer the abyss. Although the endless abyss is not a good place, but it is also a path of retreat that Yang Feng has chosen. The rest of the resources are here, only the resources of the endless abyss are missing. Yang Feng pressed a button, a holographic projector flashed, and Yu Yan's figure appeared in front of him. Yang Feng asked, "Have you bought the top fallen angel pool's abyssal materials?" Now that Yang Feng has many experts under his command, he doesn't need to do everything himself. With an order from him, countless warlocks will act and collect all kinds of materials for him. With Yang Feng's current resources, only the resources above the Infinity Warlock rank, which can't be bought with money, can give him a slight headache. Yu Yan answered, "Lord, I bought most of the abyssal materials you need in the Chaos Demonic Realm. However, there is still a top resentful soul bloodstone, which was bought 3 days before I arrived. The next batch will probably be available in about 10 years. In the Tsangji Plain, as long as you have enough high-grade magic crystals, you can buy resources below the Bright World Warlock rank. However, most of the Infinity Warlock, Monarch, Holy, and Empyrean grade materials are very rare and priceless. Once they appear, they will cause countless forces to compete over them. Once the Infinity Warlock grade materials are bought, it will be very difficult to get them." Yang Feng creased his eyebrows slightly and said, "Who bought those materials?" Yu Yan's eyes shimmered with disgust and killing intent. Ancestor Moken, an Infinity Warlock who specializes in extraordinary insects. His current research topic is to fuse ordinary humans with extraordinary insects. At the same time, he is collecting the materials of the Fallen Angel Pool. The Great Cloud Dynasty protects ordinary people and is not allowed to use innocent ordinary people for biological experiments. However, in the Chaos Demonic realm, there are monsters who can't stay in the Great Cloud Dynasty. Yang Feng asked domineeringly, Ancestor Moken. Did you find his lair? Since Ancestor Moken is a ferocious monster, Yang Feng doesn't need to talk too much nonsense with him. As long as he can lock onto Ancestor Moken's position, he can find a way to kill him. Yu Yan, who is well aware of Yang Feng's style of doing things, answered directly, his lair is in the Savage Insect Plane. Chapter 758. As one of the 36 primary material planes, Savage Insect Plane is currently one of the 36 recognized Grade 2 planes discovered by human warlocks. In the vast universe, there were naturally some second-class planes. However, those second-class planes were either hidden or recognized as second-class planes. Savage Insect Plane is one of the planes that has given birth to Warlock Emperor rank existences. The Primal Chaos Mother Spider is a Warlock Emperor rank existence born in Savage Insect Plane. The Fesua Plane's goddess Lolth is one of the 108 children of the Primal Chaos Mother Spider. Even among the 36 primary material planes, there were differences in grade. God Blood Plane has only given birth to one Warlock Emperor rank powerhouse, the first true ancestor. Therefore, it is at the bottom of the 36 primary material planes. Savage Insect Plane has given birth to more than one Warlock Emperor rank existence. In fact, its grade is higher than that of God Blood Plane. There were countless transcendent insects and transcendent demonic insects in the Savage Insect Plane. Because it was conquered by human warlocks, there are many traces of human warlocks left in Savage Insect Plane. Of the humans' 8 great warlock dynasties, apart from the first warlock dynasty and the 8th warlock dynasty, the other 6 great warlock dynasties had once ruled the Savage Insect Plane. Therefore, the Savage Insect Plane had many relics of the 6 great warlock dynasties. After the collapse of the 7th warlock dynasty, the Magic Note dynasty, the Savage Insect Plane established 4 dynasties under the influence of the 6 warlock dynasties. The 4 dynasties are Carapace Dynasty, Demonic Wing Dynasty, Insect Dynasty, and Demonic Spider Dynasty. The 4 rulers of the Demonic Insect Dynasty are all Warlock Monarch rank existences. At the same time, legend has it that Holy Spirit Warlock rank existences are hidden in Savage Insect Plane. Therefore, even Sangji Plane's human warlocks don't dare to rashly set foot in Savage Insect Plane. Many of the Sangji Plane's cruel and vicious warlocks would choose to flee to the Savage Insect Plane. Because of this plane, Sangji Plane's 4 dynasties' human warlocks don't dare to rashly go here. Green Shell City is one of the major cities belonging to Carapace Dynasty. Walking inside the Green Shell City, Yang Feng looked at the city full of exotic charm and exclaimed in admiration, "This is the Green Shell City? How interesting!" The Savage Insect Plane was filled with all kinds of giant extraordinary magic insects, so Green Shell City was very different from human cities. The entire Green Shell City's roads were 600 meters wide, and the entire city was filled with all sorts of huge transcendent plants. The ground was also covered with dense grass. There were all kinds of transcendent devil insects in the huge transcendent plants and bushes. In the sky above the main street, huge transcendent demonic insects could be seen flying here and there. On the streets, there were countless magic sports cars galloping on the ground. In those magic sports cars, there were many devil insects that were mostly in human form, but some of them maintained their insect form. The might of the 8 great warlock dynasties shook the world, and even the Dawn dynasty was tyrannical for a time, with practically no one being able to restrain it. Among the 8 great warlock dynasties, 6 warlock dynasties ruled the Savage Insect Plane and transformed the countless demonic insects of the Savage Insect Plane, giving birth to many queer extraordinary life forms. The devil insects in human form and insect form were traces that the human warlocks once ruled this plane. In the era when the human warlocks ruled the Savage Insect Plane, the human aesthetic concept replaced the aesthetic concept of this plane. The intelligent transcendent devil insects in the Savage Insect Plane also evolved into human forms. Over time, the Savage Insect Plane gave birth to many devil insects in both human and insect forms. Savagery and civilization, these two completely different forms appeared in the Green Shell City, showing the current situation of the savage insect plane. Yang Feng walked up to a 100-meter-tall, 1,000-meter-thick huge tree, which had clearly undergone alchemy transformation, and was divided into different rooms. The laughter of men and the weeping of women came from the huge tree. Yang Feng's figure fluttered, and he flew up, broke through a window, and entered the 8th floor of the huge tree. On the 8th floor, there were 5 young men sitting on chairs made from beautiful human girls refined by evil alchemy. On the ground, there was a naked human beauty crawling on the ground for the pleasure of the 5 male warlocks. The eyes of a young man with short green hair and a scorpion tail imprint on his forehead shimmered with killing intent, and he barked, "Who are you? How dare you break in? You want to die, don't you?" Yang Feng's gaze fell on a handsome young man with a scarlet scorpion engraved on his forehead in the middle of the crowd, and he said coldly, "You are the Scarlet Scorpion Tower Master? The son of old Demon Moken? I am Scarlet Scorpion. Who are you? The Green Shell City is my father's territory. Are you courting death by coming here?" The Scarlet Scorpion Tower Master glanced at Yang Feng, then crushed a scarlet bead decisively, and a message quickly flew out and spread into the distance. Yang Feng drew a sword, pointed at the Scarlet Scorpion Tower Master, and said coldly, "It's you. The 100,000 resentful souls of the Tsangji Plains Maple City asked me to take your wretched life. What else do you have to say?" A cruel smile flashed in the eyes of the Scarlet Scorpion Tower Master, and he clapped his hands. "Maple City? I've slaughtered many cities. I don't even remember what the Maple City is. Besides, I've seen a lot of idiots like you. Basically, I've made you stupid heroes into human candles. Listening to your wails is really interesting." The eyes of the 4 human beauties lying on the ground suddenly turned bloodshot, countless blades grew from their joints, and they erupted with starry sky warlock rank auras and suddenly shot towards Yang Feng. Yang Feng brandished his sword, and resplendent sword rays shone, and the 4 human beauties were chopped into countless pieces in an instant. The Scarlet Scorpion Tower Master said with a cold smile, "What a cruel person. They are all innocent humans who were just controlled by my spell. To be so vicious, what's the difference between you and me? You're just a hypocrite. Bastard, what's the difference between you and us? You're just a hypocrite." The other young men said mockingly. "The difference between me and you? I'm a human, you're a beast. As for why I want to kill you, it's because you're an eyesore." Yang Feng took a step forward, and glorious sun warlock rank fluctuations of power suddenly spread out. With a flash of sword rays, the young man who shouted the most merrily was torn apart and turned into countless pieces that scattered on the ground. Glorious Sun Warlock. Damn it! He's a glorious Sun Warlock. The faces of the remaining young men changed dramatically, and they pissed their pants in fear. Magic light erupted from their bodies, and spatial fluctuations enveloped them. Spatial disorder. Yang Feng pointed with a finger, and the space became chaotic and the spatial fluctuations became chaotic. The teleportation spells were interrupted at once. Yang Feng waved his sword, and a black sword ray shone, cut through the void, and slashed another young man into pieces. "Spare me! Sir, please spare my life. Don't kill me, I'll give you magic crystals, soul stones, spare me. My father is the Deputy City Master of Green Shell City, he'll definitely pay me a ransom." The 2 young men knelt on the ground and begged Yang Feng. A cold look in his eyes, Yang Feng waved his sword, and a black sword ray flashed, and the other young man was cut into pieces. "Stop!" Just as Yang Feng was about to slay the son of the Deputy City Master, a roar came from afar, and glorious sun warlock rank fluctuations of power swept over. "Die!" With a flash of a black sword ray, the son of the Deputy City Master of Green Shell City was cut into countless pieces that scattered on the ground. "How dare you kill people in our Green Shell City? I'll eat you!" Along with a ferocious roar, a glorious sun warlock rank fluctuation of power spread from behind, and a black scorpion tail exuding poisonous gas pierced through the wall of the treehouse and stabbed towards Yang Feng like a black bolt of lightning. Scarlet Scorpion uttered with a ferocious smile, "Now that the Black Scorpion General is here, you're dead." The Black Scorpion General is one of the 6 experts of Green Shell City, a pinnacle glorious sun warlock existence. Countless powerhouses have died at his hands. He is the strongest bodyguard of the Scarlet Scorpion. Is that so? Yang Feng smiled and slashed with the sword in his hand, and a black sword ray slashed the huge scorpion tail and erupted with intermediate bright world warlock rank fluctuations of power. No! No! I don't want to die. The huge scorpion tail crumbled inch by inch and quickly spread towards the Black Scorpion General, shredding him into pieces. The Black Scorpion General let out a roar full of despair that shrouded the whole city. He's dead. The Black Scorpion General was killed. Who? Who dares to come here and kill the Black Scorpion General? In Green Shell City, there was a burst of frightened discussions. Yang Feng beckoned with his hand, and the 100-meter-long corpse of the Black Scorpion General entered his hand and stored it in a storage ring. When Scarlet Scorpion saw this scene, his body trembled, his eyes flashed with fear, and he stared at Yang Feng and said solemnly, "Stop. I can promise you anything, so stop and spare my life. My father is Ancestor Moken. If you kill me, he won't let you off." Chapter 759. Die, you bastard! Yang Feng looked at Scarlet Scorpion, who has a look of despair on his face, and his eyes shimmered coldly. He brandished his sword, and a black sword ray shone and slashed towards Scarlet Scorpion. Stop! Infinity Warlock rank breath diffused from the Scarlet Scorpion Pagoda Master, and the wisp of Infinity Warlock force formed a huge palm that extended a finger and touched the black sword ray. The black sword ray, which has just easily slain a glorious sun warlock, collapsed inch by inch. After the black sword ray was smashed, most of the Infinity Warlock rank power dissipated, and the remaining power condensed into an old man with long black hair, a short stature, and a distorted face. The old man, who looks very uncomfortable, appeared in front of Scarlet Scorpion. A cold ray flashed in the eyes of the old man, and he said solemnly, "I am Ancestor Moken. Friend, he is my son. If he has offended you in any way, I apologize to you on his behalf. Please give me some face, and let's be friends." Ancestor Moken, who do you think you are? Do you think an old thing like you can save someone I want to kill? A trifling power projection, break for me. Yang Feng smiled coldly and slashed with his sword, and a black sword ray sliced the old man into pieces in an instant. Unabated, the black sword ray enveloped the Scarlet Scorpion Pagoda Master in an instant and chopped him into countless pieces. A strange rune, invisible to the naked eye, flew out of Scarlet Scorpion, landed on Yang Feng, and formed a strange rune on him. "Bastard, you dare to kill my son, what gull?" A junior Infinity Warlock rank breath gushed out from a hidden valley 1,000 kilometers west of Green Shell City, and a black figure soared into the sky, turned into a black ray, and flew towards Green Shell City. Yang Feng's figure fluttered, and he flew out of the tree house. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew past, and a 10-meter-long green praying mantis engraved with mysterious runes descended from the sky and slashed at Yang Feng with its blade. The earth cracked, and a 30-meter-long one-horned longhorn bull burst out of the ground and mercilessly stabbed at Yang Feng with its spear-like horns. Fools, just 2 glorious sun-grade insects actually dare to come and kill me? You really don't know what's good for you. Die! Yang Feng smiled coldly and brandished the sword in his hand, and 2 black cross-shaped sword rays slashed at the green praying mantis and the huge one-horned sky bull. The black cross-shaped sword light, which contained the power to shatter everything, instantly slashed the green praying mantis and the huge one-horned sky bull into pieces, causing countless fragments to fall to the ground. General Green Mantis, General Devil Horn was killed by him. What a savage human! Bright World Warlock, he's a human Bright World Warlock. The complexion of the surrounding devil insects changed dramatically, their eyes shimmered with fear, and they screamed loudly. Bright World Warlocks were existences comparable to intermediate Divine Force rank existences. Even in Savage Insect Plane, Bright World Warlocks were of the upper echelon. Now that a Bright World Warlock has appeared here, they were naturally shocked. The swarm of devil insects scattered in all directions. Among devil insects, the orders of superior insects of the same race cannot be resisted. However, it is very difficult to order other races. Most of the devil insects who have transformed into humans possess wisdom and fear. Without an order, they naturally won't come forward to throw away their lives. Yang Feng released his soul force and sensed Ancestor Moken's fearsome aura coming from afar. Yang Feng smiled, turned around, blurred into motion, and flew away. You want to leave? Damn human warlock, do you think this is your human Sangji plane? A cold and cruel voice sounded, and a 4-meter-tall devil insect with a dinosaur-like head, 4 pairs of insect wings on the back, and a humanoid body exuding Bright World Warlock rank fluctuations of power slowly walked out. Behind the dragon-headed devil insect, there is a wasp queen with many marks of wasps on her body, but she has a sexy figure and exudes a seductive aura. There is a freak with a fiend head, a humanoid body, a pair of insect wings on the back, and a scorpion tail on the back. Savage Insect Plane is one of the 36 primary material planes second only to Tsangji Plane. Many powerful existences have come to this plane when they travel many planes in the universe, which is why there are so many strange species in Savage Insect Plane. Dragon Insect General. The #1 expert of Green Shell City. He has never been defeated. Dragon Insect General, Wasp Queen, Fiend Scorpion General, with the 3 of them taking action, that human warlock is dead. This isn't Sangji Plane. Those damn human warlocks dare to behave atrociously in our Green Shell City, they're really reckless. When the devil insects hiding aside saw the 3 powerhouses block in front of Yang Feng, their eyes revealed a look of excitement at once. In the eyes of the devil insects on the Savage Insect Plane, the human warlock Yang Feng was an invader. They naturally support their own people. Interesting, you want to block my way with just the few of you? You're overestimating yourselves. Yang Feng chuckled, then blurred into motion and slashed out with his sword, and 9 sword rays suddenly shot out and flew in 9 different directions. Yang Feng's true body disappeared along with the sword rays. My children, go! The Wasp Queen waved her lily-white hand, and a palm-sized insect nest appeared in her hand. Countless fist-sized gold wasps flew out of the insect nest, turned into a dense swarm, and rushed towards Yang Feng. When the dense swarm of gold wasps flew out, their wings flapped according to some mysterious pattern. The buzzing sound lingered and formed a golden sound wave net that swept towards the 9 sword rays Yang Feng has transformed into. The 9 sword rays split the sound wave net, but the power of the other 8 sword rays was directly weakened by 30%. Found you. The eyes of the dragon insect general shimmered fiercely, and he blurred into motion. Leaving behind an afterimage, he appeared in front of Yang Feng like a clap of thunder. Runes shone on his body, and he sent a fist barreling towards Yang Feng. An archaic black dragon projection exuding archaic breath suddenly rose from behind the dragon insect general and barreled towards Yang Feng with a crushing aura. In front of the archaic black dragon might, ordinary Bright World Warlocks would be intimidated, unable to budge. The archaic black dragon projection, which contains the powerful will of an archaic black dragon, completely sealed the space, forcing Yang Feng to go all out and confront it head-on. Not bad, Dragon Insect General, you have some skill. It's worth it for me to use some of my true strength to deal with you. Yang Feng smiled coldly, operated the essence of Devour, spread the fingers of a hand, and a black whirlpool that looks like it can devour everything suddenly appeared in his hand, and he extended his hand forward. When the right claw grabbed the Dragon Insect General's right hand, the vortex that can devour everything twisted, and the will projection of the archaic black dragon was completely devoured by the vortex and turned into Yang Feng's power. No! There was a flash of panic and despair in the eyes of the Dragon Insect General, and he issued a miserable scream. The huge whirlpool in Yang Feng's right hand sucked him in, and his body twisted and fell into Yang Feng's right hand. He turned into ashes, leaving only a magic core and a storage ring behind. He was insta-killed. The dragon insect general was insta-killed. How is this possible? The devil insects who were secretly watching from the side were all dumbfounded and could not believe their eyes. The dragon insect general is the guardian of Green Shell City. Over the past thousands of years, countless powerhouses have died at the hands of the dragon insect general. In the eyes of the devil insects in Green Shell City, the dragon insect general is an invincible god of war. Yet the dragon insect general was insta-killed by Yang Feng, which is simply unbelievable. Yang Feng's figure fluttered, and he appeared behind the fiend scorpion general and slashed with his sword, and a black sword ray slashed the fiend scorpion general into pieces in an instant. A look of horror on her face, the wasp queen pleaded mournfully, "No. Don't kill me. I'm willing." Unfortunately, this is Savage Insect Plane. A voice of regret sounded, and a black sword ray enveloped the wasp queen and sliced her into countless pieces. Yang Feng beckoned with his hand, and the storage rings and 2 magic cores of the wasp queen and the fiend scorpion general flew over and fell into his hand. Yang Feng's figure fluttered, and he turned into a stream of light flying into the distance. This time, no one dared to stop him. They could only watch helplessly as Yang Feng fled into the distance. At this moment, light suddenly flashed in the center of Green Shell City, and a strange rune suddenly appeared, and ripples swept in all directions like a tide. Green Shell City was destroyed. A human Bright World warlock attacked in our Savage Insect Plane. To dare come to our Green Shell City, what gull? The Carapace dynasty's cities around Green Shell City were alarmed, and countless devil insects were released to prepare for war. At the same time, Bright World warlock rank devil insects began to be mobilized. Chapter 760. That kid is so fast. No wonder he dared to come here and kill my son. If I can't kill him, White Scorpion Madonna won't let me off. When Ancestor Moken scanned Yang Feng with his tremendous soul force, he clearly sensed that Yang Feng is escaping at a frightening speed. He was both shocked and angered. Ancestor Moken clenched his teeth and chanted an incantation. He opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of blood essence. The blood essence flew out and turned into a pair of blood-colored wings that landed on his body. The strange blood-colored wings pierced into his body and began to absorb his power like crazy. They turned into giant insect wings. The densely packed insect wings overlapped and rumbled. Violent gales blew past, and traces of the law of wind flowed around them. As if he merged with the wind, Ancestor Moken jumped and teleported to places with wind, and approached Yang Feng at an incredible speed. "Little bastard, I caught you. Go to hell." After a dozen-plus breaths of time, Ancestor Moken appeared in front of Yang Feng, his eyes flashed fiercely, and he spread the fingers of a hand, and a swarm of palm-sized extraordinary insects, black demon slayer insects, suddenly flew out, turned into a fearsome insect cloud, and swept towards Yang Feng. Most extraordinary insects are restrained by fire, but black demon slayer insects are different. They have extremely high resistance, can absorb all kinds of magic power, and can even devour fire. Only a Holy Spirit warlock-ranked powerhouse can kill them with a meteorological spell. Otherwise, even if it is a warlock monarch-ranked powerhouse, without a special secret treasure, they will find it difficult to kill them with a single blow. A competition of numbers? I'm the best at this. Yang Feng chuckled, then the space around him distorted, and a swarm of Type 2 Undyings suddenly flew out, turned into afterimages, and slayed the black demon slayer insects. Accompanied by flashes of blade rays, the Type 2 Undyings slayed the black demon slayer insects one after another. The black-slaying insects were also very ferocious. They left many wounds on the bodies of the Type 2 Undyings, but their venom couldn't cause too much damage to the Type 2 Undyings. Ancestor Moken's pupils constricted slightly when he saw this, and he said with a solemn expression, "Mechanical puppets? Who are you? Why are you here to kill my son?" The battle prowess of the Type 2 Undyings is astonishing. When Ancestor Moken saw the densely packed Type 2 Undyings, an ominous premonition surged in his heart. Yang Feng uttered with a smile, as expected of the Infinity Warlock. His reaction was really fast. I am the young master of the Undying Mountain, Lei Ming. I have come to take your dog life. With a flash of black light, Alexia, who was equipped with the fallen angel armor, shot out from the forest. She held the fallen angel's sword and slashed at Ancestor Moken. Ancestor Moken's face fell. His right hand blurred and turned into a mantis blade arm, and he slashed out with a green blade ray that slashed at the fallen angel's sword. The fallen angel's sword emitted a black sword ray that slashed the cyan blade ray to pieces, and then severed one of Ancestor Moken's arms. With his junior Infinity Warlock rank cultivation base, Ancestor Moken wasn't Alexia's opponent to begin with. Now that Alexia has obtained the fallen angel armor, her strength has soared by a large margin, and she has completely crushed Ancestor Moken. Ancestor Moken's face fell, and he shouted, "Young Master Lei Ming. I, Ancestor Moken, have no grievances with your Undying Mountain, so why did you deliberately come here to ambush me? I think there must be some misunderstanding between us." Yang Feng replied with a smile, "There is no misunderstanding. There are two reasons why I came here to kill you. First, you have something I want. The second reason is that you deserve to die. I don't like the look of you. Originally, I planned to take back what I want through trade. But since you don't like the look of me, then I'll just kill you. The wealth you can get from killing an Infinity Warlock isn't small. Ancestor Moken is extremely cruel. He once slaughtered more than 10 million ordinary people in order to refine a high-grade soul stone. Even though he was chased by Great Cloud Dynasty's demon hunting division, he only restrained himself a little. But he didn't change his nature, and often sneaked into Zhangji Plain to slaughter ordinary people. He was a vicious and fiendish monster. Yang Feng's killing intent was aroused, and he wanted to kill him. Ancestor Moken gritted his teeth and roared wildly, "Lei Ming, I am White Scorpion Madonna's man. If you kill me, White Scorpion Madonna won't let you off." Yang Feng's eyes flashed with understanding, "White Scorpion Madonna. No wonder Great Cloud Dynasty didn't dare to kill this old monster. It turns out that he is White Scorpion Madonna's man." White Scorpion Madonna is the daughter of White Scorpion Monarch, one of Carapace Dynasty's 3 monarchs. Among White Scorpion Monarch's countless daughters, she is the only one who has promoted to an Infinity Warlock. White Scorpion Monarch is a Warlock monarch rank existence. Even Great Cloud Dynasty doesn't want to provoke such a fearsome existence at will. Great Cloud Dynasty has Empyrean-grade secret treasures. If the several Infinity Warlocks use Empyrean-grade secret treasures, they can still defeat a Warlock monarch rank existence. However, Warlock monarch-ranked powerhouses have frightening mobility. Once the other party is shameless and assassinates people, if the other party shamelessly assassinates them, they will be a huge threat to Great Cloud Dynasty. After all, very few Infinity Warlocks can defeat a Warlock monarch-rank powerhouse one-on-one. Only those peerless geniuses who competed with Warlock emperors for the throne in the past have that ability. In Great Cloud Dynasty's Imperial Court, there are many Infinity Warlocks, but none of them can contend against a Warlock monarch-rank powerhouse. Yang Feng's eyes flashed coldly, and he said coldly, "If I, Lei Ming, want to kill someone, even White Scorpion Madonna can't stop me. If she dares to come, I'll suppress her as well." "Do it." From the forest came the proud cry of a black Fenghuang, and a beautiful and proud black Fenghuang suddenly flew out and slammed into Ancestor Moken's back with terrifying might. Ancestor Moken's strength was far inferior to Alexia and Yu Yan, and now that Yu Yan had launched a sneak attack from behind, he immediately spat out a mouthful of blood. After that, he was completely enveloped by the black phoenix flames and burned madly, causing him to let out a shrill cry. Ancestor Moken is not a strong divine force rank god. He is just an ordinary junior Infinity Warlock. Naturally, he cannot resist the siege of 2 pinnacle Infinity Warlock rank powerhouses. But Ancestor Moken is proficient in countless secret methods. His body fluttered, and his broken body split apart, and a speck of green light flew out. In an instant, the speck of green light split into 36 parts and fled in 36 different directions. At this moment, countless seven-colored rose petals suddenly flew up, densely packed together to form a seven-colored rose barrier that enveloped the void, sealing the void. When the 36 green rays collided with the barrier, they were ricocheted away. Alexia's figure flickered, and a series of afterimages appeared above the cyan light. She brandished her sword, and wherever the sword light containing dark energy passed, all the cyan light was shattered. A green ray flickered, and it turned into Ancestor Moken's form. He knelt on the ground and pleaded loudly, "Young Master Lei Ming, I am willing to surrender. Spare my worthless life. I'm willing to be your slave, your servant, your cow or your horse. Please spare my lowly life." A monster like Ancestor Moken has no moral integrity. When his life is threatened, he can put down his pride, kneel on the ground, and beg for mercy. But once there is a chance, such a monster will turn around and attack his master. Yang Feng ordered indifferently, "Kill him." Alexia's figure fluttered, and she appeared behind Ancestor Moken and slashed down with her sword. A black sword ray instantly slayed and annihilated Ancestor Moken, leaving only an infinity core behind. Yang Feng looked at Ancestor Moken's infinity core with some regret. Unfortunately, human warlocks can't evolve as fast as other extraordinary life forms. In God Blood Plane, if I slayed 2 kindred Grand Dukes, I would be able to create an infinity warlock rank powerhouse. God Blood Plane's true blood kindred are the species with the fastest evolution speed that Yang Feng has ever seen. As long as a lesser kindred have the opportunity to devour the true blood of a greater kindred, they can evolve without any bottlenecks. Because of this, Yang Feng's kindred avatar was able to easily evolve into a kindred Grand Duke. Yang Feng scanned Ancestor Moken's storage ring with his tremendous soul force. There is no resentment soul bloodstone. It seems that he left it in his dwelling. Yang Feng's figure fluttered, and the 2 infinity warlocks followed by Alexia and Yu Yen flew towards Ancestor Moken's lair. Although the 2 infinity warlocks Alexia and Yu Yen concealed their aura, but the infinity warlock rank aura they released when they slayed Ancestor Moken has alarmed the devil insects. Therefore, no one dared to come out and throw away their lives. They watched helplessly as Yang Feng's group of 3 flew towards Ancestor Moken's lair. "Who are you?" "This is Ancestor Moken's dwelling, scram." Yang Feng's group of 3 has just flown to Ancestor Moken's dwelling, when a coquettish devil insect with many leech characteristics and exuding moonlight warlock rank fluctuations of power blocked in front of them. Yang Feng glanced at the devil insect and said flatly, "A moonlight warlock rank leech devil insect? Interesting, this devil insect can absorb many curses and rare toxins. Capture her alive." Chapter 761. Yu Yen pointed with her lily-white hand, and countless rays of magic light suddenly gathered and formed a giant hand that extended towards the leech devil insect. The grasshopper devil insect opened its mouth, and a pillar of blood containing endless filthy aura soared into the sky, sweeping towards the magic hand in an instant. When the strange pillar of blood slammed into the magic hand, it issued sizzling sounds, and then was crushed by the magic hand. Taking advantage of the momentum, the magic hand grabbed the leech devil insect. As soon as the grasshopper devil insect was pinched by the giant hand, countless runes entered its body and forcefully shrunk it into a finger-sized grasshopper. Yu Yen beckoned with her hand, and the leech devil insect flew into a jade box and was sealed. Alexia's figure flickered, turned into a black stream of light, and flew into Ancestor Moken's cave mansion. Immediately after, a series of miserable screams came from Ancestor Moken's cave mansion. Yang Feng spread the fingers of a hand, and a swarm of reconnaissance robots turned into a breeze and flew towards Ancestor Moken's dwelling. Countless pieces of information were fed back by the reconnaissance robots and analyzed by the optical computer network composed of more than 1,000 level 4 optical computers. Found it. Yang Feng turned into a black stream of light and entered the depths of Ancestor Moken's dwelling. Soon after, he appeared in a cave filled with countless abyssal transcendent rank corpses. In the center of the cave, there is a pond covering an area of about 100 hectares. In the pond, there is a black crystal suspended in the center of the pond. Countless black rune chains extend from the crystal, pierced into the countless abyssal transcendent rank corpses, extracted the power of the corpses, and condensed into drops of black liquid that dripped into the center of the pond. Yang Feng showed a smile. Fallen angel pool. Judging from these materials, this is a top fallen angel pool that can give birth to infinity warlock rank fallen angels. A top-notch fallen angel pool is currently the strongest fallen angel pool that human warlocks and gods have mastered and can quickly produce. Above the top-notch fallen angel pool, there were also monarch-level fallen angel pool, sacred-level fallen angel pool, and god-level fallen angel pool. However, those fallen angel pools required massive resources and various rare natural treasures to refine. Many of those materials were treasures that could only be encountered by luck and not sought after. It was extremely difficult to successfully refine them. Break! When Yang Feng flew out of the cave, he slashed with his sword, and a black sword ray enveloped the huge cave. Rumble! Along with loud rumbles, the huge mountain was cut in half by Yang Feng's sword strike. Yang Feng extended his hand, and countless runes entered the cave with the top fallen angel pool, and the cave shrank until it was the size of a palm and entered his hand. Infinity warlocks already possess the terrifying power to pluck stars from the sky and destroy a grade 9 plane. For Yang Feng to destroy a mountain range was just a piece of cake. What's this? At the moment when Ancestor Moken's cave dwelling collapsed, Yang Feng beckoned with his hand, and a palm-sized statue engraved with black armor full of barbs flew into his hand. The statue has a humanoid shape, crimson eyes, and exudes a queer aura. The queer aura coming from the statue made even a bright world warlock like Yang Feng feel a little uncomfortable. In the vast universe, there are countless queer existences, many of which even human warlocks don't know about. Yang Feng searched the database and found that even with his rich database, there is no record of this statue. Yang Feng contemplated for a while, then his heart stirred slightly, and he sealed the strange statue in a jade box. The target is in hand, let's withdraw. Yang Feng, Alexia, and company flew away without hesitation. How dare you kill my white scorpion Madonnas, man! A ferocious roar came from afar, and the clouds in the void shifted and formed the projection of a sexy and enchanting woman with a white scorpion mark on the forehead, a scorpion tail wrapped around the waist, and a sexy and flirtatious woman staring coldly at Yang Feng's group of 3. An infinity warlock rank powerhouse can kill a great warlock rank powerhouse with one blow from 10,000 kilometers away. At the same time, they can also project themselves from 10,000 kilometers away. However, such a projection doesn't have any power. It's just a deterrent and an attitude. Scram! A cold look in his eyes, Yang Feng barked and flicked his finger, and 7-color skyfire suddenly flew out, entered the projection of white scorpion Madonna, and burned wildly. In an instant, the projection of white scorpion Madonna was burned to ashes by the violent 7-color skyfire. Yang Feng's group of 3 blurred into motion, entered a cave, passed through a small astral gate, plunged into the astral boundary, and disappeared. In Savage Insect Plane, there are as many experts as there are clouds in the sky. Just Carapace Dynasty has 3 Warlock Monarch rank powerhouses. After Yang Feng's attack succeeded, he made a prompt decision to escape. If he stays, only death will await him. A quarter of an hour later, 3 powerhouses exuding infinity warlock rank fluctuations of power appeared in front of the cave. The one in the lead of the 3 infinity warlocks is White Scorpion Madonna. Behind her stand 2 ferocious-looking devil insect powerhouses with a mixture of insect and human form. Ordinary people will feel their blood run cold at first glance. A devil insect with a dragon-like mouth and a fly upper body asked solemnly, "White Scorpion, shall we go in now?" White Scorpion Madonna's eyes shimmered with the light of wisdom, and she shook her head rationally, "No. Undying Mountain's Lei Ming, I remember now. He's the young master of Undying Mountain who set off a huge storm in Sangji Plains' Great Cloud Dynasty. Great Cloud Dynasty even lost Bright Moon Province to him. This guy is definitely not that simple. If we chase after him, I'm afraid we'll get ourselves killed. According to my father's speculation, there should be a Warlock Monarch rank powerhouse standing guard behind Undying Mountain. Another devil insect with a mantis head and a pair of fiend wings on the back asked solemnly, "Are we just going to let this matter go? That's all we can do now. However, if he dares to come to our plane again, I'll definitely kill him." The white scorpion goddess coldly snorted. She stretched out her hand and pointed. A white radiance flickered and enveloped the astral gate. The astral gate immediately collapsed and turned into dust that drifted away with the wind. On the other side of the astral gate, an incomparably huge fleet was guarding, and at the same time, countless experts were gathered there. Suddenly, the astral gate distorted, and then collapsed and disappeared. There was a flash of regret in Yang Feng's eyes. He didn't take the bait. What a troublesome guy. If White Scorpion Madonna dared to break through the astral gate, then even if she brought a warlock monarch rank powerhouse with her, Yang Feng would still be able to deal the other party a heavy blow. As for White Scorpion Madonna, it would be best if he could capture her alive. If he couldn't, Yang Feng wouldn't mind killing her. Yang Feng even dared to kill the Blazing Angel suspected to be a Warlock Emperor's subordinate, let alone a Warlock Monarch rank powerhouse. After the astral gate disappeared, the huge fleet set off and slowly disappeared into the astral boundary. The Endless Abyss. In a Viscount-grade castle, there are traces of fierce fighting everywhere. In the underground of the castle, there is a huge square. In the center of the huge square, there is a huge fallen angel pool. At this time, there are no more abyssal transcendent corpses around the fallen angel pool. In the center of the fallen angel pool, there is a statue of a fallen angel with a crystal inlaid on the chest of the statue. Tremendous abyssal force swept in from all directions. When the abyssal force entered the crystal inlaid on the chest of the fallen angel pool, drops of black liquid dripped into the pool. The most suitable place to build a fallen angel pool is the Endless Abyss. The Endless Abyss is filled with dark force. As long as the fallen angel pool is built in such a place, it can continuously extract abyssal force and transform it into dark force. Yang Feng's true body, wearing an armor that can isolate the erosion of abyssal force, grabbed the dawn-blazing angel sea bass, and came to the fallen angel pool. When the dawn-blazing angel sea bass saw the fallen angel pool, his complexion changed dramatically, and he shouted with a look of fear on his face, "The fallen angel pool. You want to pollute me? Corrupt me? Stop. If you do that, my lord won't let you off." Any fallen angel is a traitor to their original master. Once a dawn-blazing angel is corrupted by the fallen angel pool, the Dawn Lord will never let them off. Without hesitation, Yang Feng threw Seabass into the fallen angel pool. A copious amount of dark force poured into Seabass like a tide, causing him to scream in horror and despair, "No. Don't." Wisps of dawn authority gushed out of Seabass, intertwined with the dark force, and cancelled each other out. Seabass's fleshly body constructed from divine force collapsed inch by inch, and then gradually constructed a new fleshly body constructed from dark force. "How dare you!" Suddenly, a wisp of Warlock Emperor rank Empyrean might gushed out of Seabass and nearly tore the fallen angel pool apart. Abyssal Lord Authority, suppress. The eyes of Yang Feng's Abyssal Fiend Earl Avatar shimmered fiercely, and he roared, and a tremendous amount of abyssal force suddenly erupted and suppressed the wisp of Empyrean might. Chapter 762. A tremendous abyssal will suddenly descended and collided with the wisp of Empyrean might. The violent clash of wills set off a huge energy storm in the real world and blew the water of the fallen angel pool about. In the end, the wisp of Empyrean might was eroded by the abyssal will and turned into nothingness. The wisp of Empyrean might and the abyssal will are virtually on the same level. However, the wisp of Empyrean might is like water without a root, while the abyssal will is rooted in abyss and has an almost endless supply, which is why it can easily suppress the wisp of Empyrean might. Yang Feng guessed that the dawn-blazing angel wouldn't fall so easily, which is why he summoned the Abyssal Lord Avatar here. In terms of fighting strength alone, Yang Feng's true body can suppress the Abyssal Lord Avatar with one hand. However, Yang Feng's true body isn't an Abyssal Lord, after all. Naturally, he can't rely on the protection of the Abyssal Will. As soon as the wisp of Empyrean might was suppressed, the fallen angel pool full of corrosive force entered the dawn-blazing angel and eroded the defenseless dawn-blazing angel. Yang Feng silently recited an incantation and pointed at the fallen angel pool, and countless black runes entered the pool. At the same time, he threw a high-grade soul stone into the pool. 10 days later, a fearsome aura spread from the fallen angel pool, and Seabass flew out of the pool, landed on the ground, knelt on one knee in front of Yang Feng, and uttered respectfully, "Well met, my lord." When Yang Feng saw this, the corners of his mouth rose slightly, and he revealed a satisfied smile. Seabass and the other 2 blazing angels are all Infinity Warlock rank blazing angels. After they are transformed into Infinity Warlock rank blazing angels, they are definitely a powerful force in Yang Feng's force. Yang Feng stared at Seabass with a dignified expression and asked solemnly, "The Dawn Lord you speak of, is it the Dawn Lord of the Tsangji Plains 8th Warlock Dynasty?" The 8th Warlock Dynasty's Warlock Emperor, the Dawn Lord, was a peerless expert who unified the entire Tsangji Plain and conquered countless plains. If he hadn't been defeated by a Warlock Emperor rank powerhouse in his prime, suffered serious injuries, and was forced to hide in the Tsangji Plain to recuperate, and ultimately never left the Tsangji Plain, he would have been considered one of the strongest human Warlock Emperors. In the vast universe, there were countless planes, and similarly, there were countless deities who wielded the power of Dawn, the Lord of Dawn. Yang Feng wanted to confirm whether the Dawn Lord was the Tsangji Plains 8th Warlock Emperor, the Dawn Lord. "My lord, since we were born, the Dawn Lord told us that he is the great 8th Warlock Emperor, the Dawn Lord. He is now the supreme god of Dawn Plain, the Lord of Dawn. From my observations and the information I have, the Dawn Lord is indeed the Tsangji Plains 8th Warlock Emperor, the Dawn Lord. According to the Tsangji Plains classification, Dawn Plain is a Grade 2 plane, a plane of the same grade as the 36 primary material planes. It was discovered by the Dawn Lord at the time, and served as his escape route. The Dawn Lord can be said to be the Dawn Lord of the 8th Warlock Emperor or not. At the time, before the Dawn Lord's true body was besieged, one of his avatars ignited his divine fire, absorbed the countless Dawn godheads he collected, and advanced to a god in one fell swoop. The King of Dawn is my former master. Seabass explained in detail for Yang Feng. Yang Feng heaved a sigh of relief when he heard that, so it was an avatar. Gods were favored by the plain origin. As long as their true body stayed in their divine country, they could live for more than 1 million years. Many powerful human warlocks would make an avatar and promote to a god in another plane. In this way, even if the soul of the true body decayed and he died, he could use an avatar to extend his life. However, although gods have a very long lifespan, but they are still bound by the plane. Once a god's true body leaves the plane for more than 10 days, they will weaken at a terrifying rate of 1% per day. If they leave the plane for less than 4 months, they will weaken to death. The only way to survive is to transform and break away from the identity of a god. Therefore, most gods come to other planes in the form of avatars. Yang Feng pondered for a while and asked, "How many Bright World Warlock rank angels and above does the Dawn Lord currently have?" Seabass answered, "As far as I know, the Dawn Lord has 896 Bright World Warlock rank angels, 172 Infinity Warlock rank angels, and 9 Warlock Monarch rank angels. As for Holy Spirit Warlock rank angels, I have never seen them, and there is no intelligence to prove their existence. However, according to the Dawn Lord's style of conduct, there should be 1 or 2 Holy Spirit Warlock rank blazing angels guarding him." Yang Feng's eyes flashed with a dignified shade, 172 Infinity Warlock rank angels and 9 Warlock Monarch rank angels. As expected of a former Warlock Emperor powerhouse, his underlying strength is really amazing. The Dawn Lord was a Warlock Emperor of the Tsangji Plain in the past. Along the way, he has destroyed who knows how many planes, killed more than 1,000 Dawn Lords, and obtained countless resources. Since the Dawn Plane is one of his trump cards, it naturally obtained his support, which is why it has so many powerhouses. Yang Feng pondered for a while, and then said, "Seabass, I captured the 3 of you alive. Will the Dawn Lord send people to suppress me? A lean camel is still bigger than a horse. The Dawn Lord is no longer as powerful as the 8th Warlock Emperor. But if he insists on suppressing Yang Feng, as long as he sends 4 Warlock Monarch rank Blazing Angels plus Infinity Warlock rank Angels as his wings, Yang Feng's forces in the Bright Moon Province can be leveled. With the power at the Dawn Lord's disposal, if he mobilizes all his angel legions, he can even destroy the Great Cloud Dynasty. No. Although the Dawn Lord is powerful, but he clearly has more powerful enemies to deal with. During the past hundreds of thousands of years, they have been holed up in the Dawn Plane, and they have steadily expanded outward step by step. As far as I know, there are already 372 planes that have fallen into the Dawn Lord's control, and they have established a perfect defense system. Since the 3 of us have fallen into your hands, it means that you have the power to kill Infinity Warlock rank Blazing Angels. According to the Dawn Lord's way of doing things, he should carefully investigate you. After finding out your details, he will send someone to negotiate with you. He will redeem you. Master, if you don't want to thoroughly offend the Dawn Lord, then it's best to keep the other 2 Blazing Angels. When you negotiate with the Dawn Lord, you can exchange them for other benefits and eliminate the other party's hatred. Seabass, who is well aware of the Dawn Lord's way of doing things, sold Yang Feng information on his former lord. Yang Feng pondered for a while, and then asked, if I transform the 3 Blazing Angels, what will the Dawn Lord's reaction be? Seabass uttered, then there will be a blood feud between the 2 of you. Unless you can come up with greater benefits to resolve this hatred, once the time is ripe, the Dawn Lord will mobilize countless powerhouses to give you a fatal blow when you are in the most danger. Yang Feng waited again, and finally chose to give up on transforming the other 2 Blazing Angels into fallen angels. The Dawn Lord is a supreme god of a plane. His strength is far inferior to that of the 8th Warlock Emperor at the time. However, his strength is still terrifying, and he is not an existence that Yang Feng can resist. If the hatred can be resolved, Yang Feng doesn't mind returning the 2 Blazing Angels to the other party. Yang Feng uttered, however, the Dawn Lord is really patient. He hasn't come looking for trouble for so long. Seabass uttered, when the Dawn Lord dominated an era, he had countless subordinates, but he also sowed a lot of hatred. Otherwise, there wouldn't have been so many people besieging him at the time when he was old. His avatar naturally became more careful. After all, he is much weaker than before. Only by staying in the Dawn Divine Country can he feel at ease. The stronger the person, the higher the level of contact, the stronger their friends would be. Similarly, the strength of their enemies would also be stronger. At the time, the Dawn Lord suppressed the world and defeated countless strong enemies. Most of the strong enemies died at his hands, but those who survived grew into extremely terrifying existences. Now, the Dawn Lord can only hide in the Divine Country to ensure his safety. Yang Feng's thoughts revolved, and he heaved a sigh of relief, so that's how it is. Unless the Dawn Lord uses his true power, he basically can't threaten my safety. As long as I don't court death, I won't provoke him to go all out to destroy me. After all, he has stronger enemies. Compared to those enemies, I'm not qualified. Even though the Dawn Lord is just an avatar, but in his eyes, his enemies are Holy Spirit Warlock rank powerhouses. A trifling Infinity Warlock rank force is nothing in his eyes. At this moment, Yang Feng felt the box sealed by the statue he snatched from Ancestor Moken tremble slightly. With a thought, he took out the box and opened it. The strange statue suddenly absorbed abyssal force from all directions. Inside the statue, tiny symbols that Yang Feng has never seen before suddenly appeared and exuded mysterious, strange, powerful, and fearsome fluctuations of power. Yang Feng's Abyssal Earl avatar took out a gourd and poured the abyssal river water towards the strange statue. Like a bottomless black hole, the strange statue frantically devoured the abyssal river water. Chapter 763. The water of the abyssal river in the lake was absorbed by the weird statue, yet there was still no end to it. Yang Feng's Abyssal Lord avatar used his Abyssal Lord authority and beckoned with his hand, and the water of the abyssal river thousands of kilometers away suddenly flew out, turned into a torrent, and poured into the weird statue. After devouring the abyssal river water for a day and a night, the weird statue finally trembled. Yang Feng's abyssal lord avatar pressed with his hand, and the water of the abyssal river floated in the void, motionless. After about a dozen plus breaths of time, the weird statue cracked and revealed a black square crystal. When Yang Feng's abyssal lord avatar saw the black square crystal, his eyes lit up, and he grabbed the square crystal and stuffed it into his mouth. As soon as the square crystal entered Yang Feng's abyssal lord avatar, a fearsome force broke out in an instant and entered his body. Originally, Yang Feng's abyssal lord avatar gained a lot of power on the bloody battlefield and became a pinnacle abyssal fiend Earl. Now that he obtained the power of the square crystal, he transformed again, crossed the huge bottleneck between abyssal fiend Earl and abyssal fiend Marquis in one fell swoop, and evolved into an abyssal fiend Marquis. Yang Feng glanced at the abyssal fiend Marquis avatar that has evolved into an abyssal fiend Marquis and frowned, saying, "There is no record of this power in the database. I need to analyze and study you." There is no record of the weird statue in Yang Feng's warlock database. No one knows if the weird power will change the connection between the avatar and the true body. The world of warlocks is full of weirdness. It is impossible to see it from the perspective of humans. In the world of warlocks, ice containing the law of ice can freeze fire. Human souls can be exchanged with each other. In the world of warlocks, Earth's absolute zero is just a joke. Under the effect of the law of ice, it can even reach a temperature far higher than Earth's so-called absolute zero. There is no record of the weird statue in Yang Feng's warlock database, which aroused his vigilance. If he isn't careful, then once the abyssal fiend Marquis avatar is contaminated, and it may eventually betray him. The abyssal fiend Marquis avatar agreed decisively, understood. After passing through a top-grade warp gate, Yang Feng and the abyssal fiend avatar came to a fully equipped underground laboratory in Bright Moon Province. The most advanced and cutting-edge scanners began to scan and analyze Yang Feng's abyssal fiend avatar. There's nothing wrong with his soul. My body is 5% stronger than an ordinary golden horned. My bones have been strengthened by 3%. My blood has been enhanced by 12%. Based on the analysis of the information we currently have, the final conclusion is that the incarnation had been strengthened and there was nothing abnormal about it. As for the square crystal, after analysis, it should be a type of high-level life form mana that the statue had transformed into. The conversion method and absorption efficiency of this kind of biological mana is beyond what we currently possess. Messages were sent back one after another. Yang Feng's eyes flashed with a peculiar glint, saying, "Can the statue's technology be analyzed?" According to the analysis of the information we currently have, the level of technology of this statue surpasses the technology of our Shi clan in its heyday. There was a huge gap between them. If he wanted to analyze the technology of this statue, he would have to obtain the information of this statue's civilization. Otherwise, please unlock Shizu technology to the highest level. Only then will it be possible to analyze the technology of the next level. Yang Feng's heart shook slightly, and he stared at the statue with a dignified look in his eyes. This statue is so amazing. How did it appear in the Zhangji Plain? Since Yang Feng came to the Great Cloud Dynasty, he has almost never stopped collecting information about the warlock civilization. According to the various information he has, when the Shizu dominated the universe, they were at their peak and could slay great holy step existences. But against warlock emperor rank powerhouses, the outcome of the battle is unknown. The level of this statue surpassed the level of technology of the Shizu in their heyday, which means that the statue came from a terrifying civilization far beyond this universe. Such a terrifying civilization is very likely to give birth to eternal sovereigns, or even more terrifying and powerful existences. Yang Feng pondered for a while, and then handed the statue to his abyssal fiend avatar. The world of warlocks is extremely strange. Since I can appear here, then naturally there may be existences or items from other higher universes that have descended into this world. Those eternal sovereigns may be existences from higher universes that descended into this world. Existences of that level are not existences that I can come into contact with for now. If I continue to think about it, then it will just be groundless worries. Time passed, and a month passed in the blink of an eye. At the entrance of the Bright Moon Province's Undying Mountains headquarters, a young man with short blonde hair, a medium build, and a faint smile on his face appeared at the foot of the mountain. Behind the young man was a man and a woman. The man was handsome, and the woman was beautiful. They were all outstanding figures that could only be found once in a million. Infinity Warlock rank fluctuations of power slowly spread, and he said loudly, "Dawn Divine Emissary Pui is here to greet the young master of the Undying Mountain. Please come in." A gold ray shot out from the Undying Mountain's headquarters, landed in front of the Dawn Divine Emissary Pui, and formed a gold staircase. Pui and the two people behind him stepped on the gold staircase. With a flash of gold light, they appeared in a vast hall. There is a person sitting on the throne in the hall. It is Yang Feng. On the left and right of Yang Feng stand the two powerhouses Alexia and Yu Yen respectively. Both of them are shrouded in a mist of magic, making it impossible to see their faces. At the same time, there are faint Infinity Warlock rank fluctuations of power in the dark. Pui stepped forward, bowed slightly to Yang Feng, and revealed a strange smile. "Dawn Divine Emissary Pui greets the young master of the Undying Mountain." In other words, "Greetings Battle Demon Sect's Great Elder Yang Feng." Yang Feng's eyes narrowed slightly. "How did you find out?" After Yang Feng became the incarnation of the Undying Mountain's young master Lei Ming, he almost never appeared in public using his identity. Only when he fought against the emissary of the Dawn Lord did he use his identity. The Dawn Lord just grasped that flaw, and yet found out his true identity in such a short period of time. This kind of investigative ability is simply terrifying. Pui smiled and flexed his muscles. "After all, my lord was once the master of the Zhangji Plain. In the Zhangji Plain, few things can escape my lord's eyes and ears." Yang Feng responded flatly, "I am Yang Feng." Pui uttered, "Young Master Yang Feng, we had a little conflict with you before. Reportedly, 3 blazing angels fell into your hands. Please return them to us. In exchange, we are willing to pay an equal price. After that, we can write this off." Angels are divided into 9 grades. The upper 3 grades are blazing angels, throne angels, and wisdom angels. The middle 3 grades are primary angels, energy angels, and force angels. The lower 3 grades are authority angels, great angels, and angels. Blazing angels are the most powerful beings among angels of the same rank. They can evolve into beings with supreme god rank battle prowess. Throne angels can evolve into beings with warlock monarch rank battle prowess. Wisdom angels can evolve into beings with infinity warlock rank battle prowess at most. At the time, the 3 dawn blazing angels resisted the siege of countless experts under Yang Feng's command. From this, it can be seen how strong they are. Yang Feng said flatly, "Of the 3 blazing angels, I have already transformed one into a fallen angel. I can only return the other 2 to you. Of the 2 blazing angels, take one as an apology for accidentally transforming a fallen angel. As for the other, you only need to pay the resources needed to cultivate an infinity warlock rank powerhouse, and then you can take it away." Behind Pui, the beautiful woman with a sexy figure spread her angel wings, and infinity warlock rank fluctuations of power emanated from her. She stared fiercely at Yang Feng. "What, you transformed our brother into a degenerate? You damned heretic! If you don't apologize to us and compensate us, then our great lord will never let you off." Yang Feng's eyes radiated a fierce ray, and as if a fierce beast has awakened, a fearsome aura spread from him. He stared coldly at the beautiful infinity warlock rank throne angel and uttered frigidly, "The great Dawn Lord is indeed very powerful, far stronger than me. But I also fought my way out of mountains of corpses and seas of blood. This time, it was your Dawn Divine Country's people who took the initiative to attack me. I have already given you face by taking a step back. Or, does the Dawn Divine Country want to fight me to the death? If Yang Feng falls out with the Dawn Lord, he can only choose to give up Zhangji Plain's Undying Mountains Foundation and be forced to flee to Red Rage Plain. However, with Yang Feng's terrifying power, once he attacks the Dawn Divine Country, as long as he has the right strategy, he can definitely kill more than 10 Infinity Warlock rank angels. Pewee frowned slightly and shouted in a deep voice, "Celine, shut up." The beautiful throne angel glared at Yang Feng and kept silent. What a barbarian, he doesn't know any negotiation skills. Pewee glanced at Yang Feng with contempt in his eyes, but he sighed in his heart, it's a pity that this barbarian has a lot of power. I can't fall out with him for now. Having investigated Yang Feng's rise, Pewee is aware that Yang Feng has a terrifying power in his hands. Although that power cannot compare to the Dawn Lord's accumulation of hundreds of thousands of years, but once he falls out with Yang Feng, it is very likely to break the balance between the Dawn Lord and other powerful existences. Chapter 764. Pewee uttered with a smile, "Since you said so, young Master Yang Feng, then we'll give you face and deal with this matter according to your opinion." When Yang Feng saw Pewee take a step back, his eyes shimmered with enigmatic light, and he mused, it seems that the Dawn Lord doesn't want to make a big deal out of this. His troubles shouldn't be small. None of the 8 Warlock Emperors is a simple character. If someone dared to attack an Infinity Warlock subordinate to them during their heyday, then with a single order from them, countless powerhouses will destroy or expel the enemy to the astral boundary, the endless abyss, the netherworld, or other places that even the forces of the Warlock Emperors can hardly cover. The Dawn Lord was not a magnanimous Warlock Emperor, and the number of enemies he destroyed at the time was also innumerable. Now that Pewee has given in to Yang Feng, it is clear that the Supreme God Dawn Lord has countless troubles to deal with. He doesn't want to make a strong enemy. Pewee said, "Young Master Yang Feng, I also brought the Great Dawn Lord with me this time. I hope that our two families can form an alliance and help each other out." Yang Feng raised his eyebrows and pondered for a while, saying, "Ally? I'll think about it." Pewee opened his hand, and a cube-shaped communications crystal flew out of his hand and flew towards Yang Feng. "This is my communications crystal. If you want to contact me, young Master Yang Feng, you can do so through the communications crystal." When Pewee saw Yang Feng grab the communications crystal, he showed a smile, bowed to Yang Feng, and uttered, "Then I'll take my leave first." Yang Feng waved his hand, and gold light enveloped Pewee's group of 3 and teleported them out of Undying Mountain. Ally? Is it so easy to be an ally of the Dawn Lord? Although you can get great benefits by becoming an ally of the Dawn Lord, but you also have to face the Dawn Lord's enemies. If I become an ally of the Dawn Lord, I'm afraid that the first person to be eradicated will be me. After Pewee's group of 3 left, a cold ray flashed in Yang Feng's eyes, and he calculated coldly in his heart. The best way to destroy an enemy is to go from weak to strong. When dealing with an enemy of the same rank, first destroy the enemy's weakest wings and allies, and then destroy the enemy. This is the way to go. By allying with the Dawn Lord, although Yang Feng can obtain great benefits, but he must also face the enemies of the Dawn Lord. For the current Yang Feng, an enemy on the level of the Dawn Lord is still too powerful. After completing the agreement with the divine emissary of the Dawn Lord, Yang Feng's true body hid in a secret place in Bright Moon Province and entered closed-door cultivation. Yang Feng has mastered the resources of Bright Moon Province, Li Gui Province, Yu Province, Red Rage Plain, and many other forces. These resources are enough for him to quietly practice cultivation until he reaches the pinnacle Bright World Warlock rank. There is even hope for him to break through and promote to an Infinity Warlock in seclusion. Under such circumstances, Yang Feng is naturally willing to enter secluded cultivation until the power of his true body reaches the limit, and then leave secluded cultivation to look for the Black Emperor's treasure trove or enter the core world to look for more resources. 2 years passed in the blink of an eye. The Zhangji Plains cloud capital, one of Yang Feng's avatars, Zhao Fan, is lying on a beach chair in his small villa. In his arms is the short-haired, youthful and beautiful girl Lan Chuxia. It's really peaceful. Yang Feng stroked Lan Chuxia's jade-white, silk-like smooth skin, absorbed the sun force contained in the sunlight, and showed a satisfied smile. When Yang Feng's avatar Zhao Fan advanced to the Moonlight Warlock rank, he was already a genius among geniuses. Although Yang Feng's true body still has countless rare resources that can make his avatar advance to the glorious Dawn Warlock rank, but that will arouse Great Cloud Dynasty's suspicions. In fact, after Yang Feng's avatar Zhao Fan advanced to the Moonlight Warlock rank, it aroused Great Cloud Dynasty's investigation. But after several rounds of investigation, there were no suspicions, and so he was able to sit firmly on the throne of Bureau Chief of Great Cloud Dynasty's Secret Treasure Division. Suddenly, a series of violent tremors came from the ground, as if the heavens and the earth were about to collapse. Lan Chuxia, who is lying in Yang Feng's arms like a cat, was taken aback at once. She straightened her petite body and asked, "What's going on?" A dignified shade flashed in Yang Feng's eyes, and he said solemnly, "I'll go ask." As the imperial capital of Great Cloud Dynasty, the Cloud Capital is guarded by countless secret treasures and has more than 1,000 warlock towers. If a warlock monarch rank powerhouse comes to the Cloud Capital to behave atrociously, they will be quelled. It is impossible for an ordinary earthquake to affect the Cloud Capital. But now that the Cloud Capital has been affected by an earthquake, it is definitely not an ordinary earthquake. Yang Feng took out a communications magic box, selected by Yuxian's imprint and connected. After a while, Bai Yuxian's voice came from the communications magic box. "Zhao Fan, why are you looking for me?" Yang Feng asked, "Your Highness, do you know what happened in this earthquake?" As a peerless genius of the Bai family, Bai Yuxian is very well informed, even more so than Yang Feng, who has control over Undying Mountain. After all, Great Cloud Dynasty is much stronger than Yang Feng's Undying Mountain. Bai Yuxian replied, "I don't know. Even I don't know what happened in this earthquake." At this moment, a vast and boundless aura spread out from the eastern world's Time Sky City, spreading out in all directions. What rich life magic energy! It's coming from the Time Sky City. Yang Feng has quietly arranged surveillance robots in various areas of the Great Cloud Dynasty. When the vast and fearsome aura diffused from the Time Sky City, the countless surveillance robots immediately sent feedback to the Level 4 optical computer network and analyzed the source of the aura. In Bright Moon Province, Yang Feng, who is absorbing countless resources and strengthening the 9 small worlds inside him, suddenly opened his eyes. His eyes shone brightly, and he flew towards a warp gate. During those 2 years, Yang Feng not only had his surveillance robots quietly stationed in various places of the Zhangji Plains 4 dynasties, but he also quietly set up many warp gates in various places of the 4 dynasties. After passing through the warp gates, it only took Yang Feng a few minutes to appear in a cave near the Time Sky City. With a flash of black light, Yang Feng flew into the sky and looked in the direction of the Time Sky City. In the surroundings of the Time Sky City, warlock powerhouses flew into the air and looked in the direction of the Time Sky City from afar. They saw a huge rift open in the location of the Time Sky City, and a copious amount of gold light gushed out from the huge rift. When the gold light gushed out from the ground, it combined with the air on the ground and formed seeds, huge stones, and magic crystals that sprayed in all directions like raindrops. Some low-level warlocks continuously cast spells from the sidelines, forming mage hands that reached towards the sky and scooped up the magic stones and magic crystals. On Earth, the eruption of the golden light was equivalent to a tornado in the sky. Within the tornado, there was an endless amount of cash floating. Attracted by the magic crystals, 3 moonlight warlocks cast spells to grab the resources ejected from the gold light. Once a moonlight warlock stepped into the transcendent realm, they became a transcendent. Moonlight warlocks are transcendent rank powerhouses. But on the Zhangji Plain, moonlight warlocks have to fight for their own resources. Rogue moonlight warlocks who are unwilling to join major forces and want to establish their own forces also have to fight for resources. The rest of the warlocks above the moonlight warlock rank stared at the rift that sprayed gold light with dignified and shocked looks in their eyes. No one knows what happened. Boom! Along with an earth-shaking sound, the huge rift split open 1,000 kilometers wide, and a copious amount of gold light gushed out from the ground. Under the impact of the fearsome golden light, the tens of thousands of low-level warlocks issued miserable screams, their bodies twisted, and they turned into all kinds of strange beings. Then, their bodies burst open and turned into clouds of blood mist, which combined with the golden light and became new resources. As soon as the golden light poured into the three moonlight warlocks, they trembled at once, and then, as if insects stuck in a spider's web, they couldn't budge and were in unbearable pain, and their bodies began to change. Warlocks can absorb life magic energy to evolve and become more powerful. However, there is a limit to the amount of life magic energy a warlock can absorb at each rank. In a short period of time, if a large amount of life magic energy is poured into a warlock, their fleshly body will explode. Yang Feng's face flickered, and he blurred into motion and fled frantically. Along with flashes of light, the Moonlight Warlock rank powerhouses above the Moonlight Warlock rank cast secret methods and fled into the distance. The earth shook and cracked open 100,000 kilometers wide, and dazzling gold light soared into the sky. Suddenly, a giant tree with a diameter of 100,000 kilometers broke out of the earth, pierced through the sky, and entered the starry sky. A vast and boundless mighty force emanated from the giant tree and spread in all directions. The giant tree pierced through the Zhangji Plains atmosphere, and then its crown suddenly split into 9 branches, each of which has a floating continent with a diameter of 100,000 kilometers suspended above it. Thin branches extended out of the strange giant tree and pierced into different voids, continuously extracting all kinds of power and sinking into the floating continent in the treetop. Chapter 765. From time to time, a leaf will fall from the giant tree's crown and fly towards the 9 floating continents. When each leaf falls, it will turn into a floating continent that looks like many stars orbiting the moon. Whatever it is, there must be a treasure on it. Go! With a scorching gleam in his eyes, Yang Feng spread the fingers of a hand, and a dense swarm of Type 2 Undyings as well as a large number of 4th-generation battle robots flew out of the 9 small worlds inside him and flew towards the floating continent formed from the giant tree like a tide. At this time, there are countless munitions factories in the 9 small worlds inside Yang Feng. His true body is like a mobile super carrier, and he can release all kinds of battle robots at any time to deal with various combat environments. The eyes of the Moonlight Warlocks and Glorious Sun Warlocks present shimmered with greed, and they cast secret methods and turned into streams of light flying towards the floating continent formed from the giant tree. As old monsters who have lived for hundreds or even thousands of years, the Moonlight Warlocks and Glorious Sun Warlocks have experienced countless adventures and all kinds of strange phenomena. Naturally, they are aware that there must be a treasure on the huge mysterious ancient tree. Virtually all the warlocks flew towards the floating continents above the canopy and the 9 branches extending from the 9 floating continents. Only Yang Feng's battle robots flew towards different floating continents. Boom! Amidst an earth-shattering rumble, an exquisite castle that was filled with countless mysteries flew out from the ground, and in an instant, appeared on a floating continent that was condensed from tree branches. This continent belongs to the Time Imperial Court. Anyone who enters without permission will die. A domineering voice came from the castle, and resplendent rays of light fell on the warlocks and Yang Feng's battle robots. Shrouded by the resplendent light, the warlocks and Yang Feng's battle robots were sent flying. Wisps of incomparably terrifying saint might emanated from the castle and swept across the land. Holy Spirit Warlock. Time Imperial Court. The First Warlock Dynasty. How is this possible? Didn't the First Warlock Dynasty collapse? When the warlocks present sensed the holy might emanating from the floating continent, their faces changed dramatically, and they didn't dare to approach. Holy Spirit Warlocks are the guardians and strongest powerhouses of a race. In the vast universe, most of the guardians of higher races are Holy Spirit Warlocks. Before Warlock Emperor rank powerhouses appear, Holy Spirit Warlocks are the most powerful existences in the world. Even if the Great Cloud Dynasty and the Western world's 3 Warlock dynasties join forces, they may not be the opponent of a Holy Spirit Warlock. The Great Cloud Dynasty, the Western world, and the other 3 Warlock dynasties all have Empyrean-grade secret treasures. By fully stimulating the power of those Empyrean-grade secret treasures, they can indeed seriously injure or even kill a Holy Spirit Warlock. However, It is necessary to force a Holy Spirit warlock into a head-on confrontation in order to seriously injure or even kill the other party. If a Holy Spirit warlock lowers his status and launches a sneak attack, he can insta-kill an Infinity Warlock. Once the 4 dynasties become enemies with a Holy Spirit warlock, the 4 dynasties' Infinity Warlocks can only hole up in the capital city. Once they leave the capital city alone, they will most likely die. Boom! A 10,000-meter-long primordial dragon flew out of the earth and landed on another branch floating continent. A cold and domineering voice came from above. This continent belongs to the Taboo Imperial Court. Anyone who enters without permission will die. That's the primordial dragon Wuha, who was slain by the Taboo Lord. It's the mount and palace of the Taboo Lord. Didn't he disappear with the fall of the Taboo Lord? The Taboo Imperial Court? Hasn't the Taboo Lord died yet? Shocked by the sudden appearance of the primordial dragon, the human warlocks fled from the branch floating continent. Among the 8 warlock emperors, the Time Lord is relatively mild-mannered. Due to his humble origin, the Taboo Lord is an ordinary person with almost no cultivation aptitude. Along the way, he plundered the bloodline of countless powerful life forms, purified the bloodline, and finally reached the summit. Therefore, he is extremely murderous. Not only does he kill his enemies, but he also shows no mercy to human warlocks. Seeing this scene, the human warlocks flying towards the other branch floating continents stopped and stared at the other branch floating continents. Boom! The earth split open, and a 10,000-meter-tall giant engraved with countless runes broke out of the earth and jumped onto a branch floating continent. A flat voice came from the sky, and a fearsome aura spread from the branch floating continent. This continent belongs to the Transcendent Imperial Court. Anyone who enters without permission will die. The Headless Giant General Pavilion. That's a peerless powerhouse who was slain by the Transcendent Lord. That's a fearsome existence that can compete with the Transcendent Lord, and it's a chariot that the Transcendent Lord later refined. He didn't disappear. The faces of the human warlocks changed dramatically, and they commented. Boom! A star palace engraved with countless star diagrams flew out from the ground and landed on a branch floating continent. Dazzling beams of star light flew over from afar and landed on the star palace, and projections of stars appeared above the star palace. A gentle voice came from the star palace. This continent now belongs to the Star Imperial Court. No one is welcome to enter without permission. Different from the other warlock emperors, the Star Lord is the most gentle among the 8 warlock emperors. The warlocks of the Star Imperial Court are also relatively gentle. Boom! The earth shook once more, and a huge mountain range shrouded in a boundless black aura abruptly flew out and landed on a floating continent. It was filled with a deathly aura and the most mysterious nether river that ran through it. A strange voice came. This continent now belongs to the Death Imperial Court. Only the dead can enter without permission. Boom! The earth split open again, and a 10,000-meter-tall palace engraved with countless runes and shrouded in mysterious mist flew out and landed on a branch floating continent. A proud voice came. This continent now belongs to the Magic Note Imperial Court. Anyone who can hand over a secret treasure recognized by the Magic Note Imperial Court can enter this continent and become a member of the Magic Note Imperial Court. Otherwise, trespassers will die. The 6 Warlock Imperial Courts have appeared. What about the Golem Imperial Court and the Dawn Imperial Court? What's going on? Why did they appear? Didn't the 8 Warlock Imperial Courts collapse? When the human warlocks saw the 6 powerful forces appear in the sky, their eyes flashed with astonishment. The 8 warlock imperial courts of the Tsangji Plain were the most glorious era of human warlocks. Even the Dawn Imperial Court shocked the 36 primary material planes with its might. No force dared to fight the Dawn Imperial Court. The 6 warlock imperial courts are extremely powerful and invincible existences. Even the warlock emperor rank existences who have lived for millions or tens of millions of years in the 36 primary material planes and hidden in the astral boundary, the endless abyss, the netherworld, and the endless starry sky, don't dare to confront them head-on. But now that the forces known as the Six Warlock Imperial Courts have appeared and occupied 6 branch floating continents in one fell swoop, all the warlocks stopped at once, not daring to act rashly. At the moment when the warlocks stopped, countless battle robots flew into the remaining 3 branch floating continents. As soon as they entered a branch floating continent, Yang Feng saw through the perspective of the battle robots that there are spirit springs, magic energy lingering, and all kinds of rare extraordinary plants and rare materials that would make Infinity Warlocks envious grow everywhere. In the center of each branch floating continent, there is dazzling golden light, as if something precious is being nurtured and born. Yang Feng's battle robots suddenly turned into streams of light and flew towards the center of the branch floating continents at their highest speed. In the center of each floating continent was a golden lake. In the center of each golden lake was a small bell, a bow, and a shield. You can only choose one. If you take more, you'll suffer a backlash and die. If you only take one, you'll benefit greatly. When Yang Feng saw the 3 treasures, the fate algorithm in his sea of knowledge trembled, reminding him of the hidden opportunities and dangers. I need a shield. Only by staying alive can everything be possible. Yang Feng made a prompt decision. A battle robot flew into a golden lake, grabbed a shield, and suddenly flew out, turned into a stream of light, and flew towards him. As if tangible gazes descended from the sky, they followed the battle robot and focused on Yang Feng, making him feel as if he was carrying a mountain on his back. The 6 Warlock Imperial Courts exudes Holy Spirit Warlock rank fluctuations of power. Even Yang Feng may not be able to resist an all-out attack of a Holy Spirit Warlock rank powerhouse at this time. A black ray suddenly flickered, appeared silently from the void, and extended its hand towards the shield in the hand of the battle robot. Die! With a flash of anger in his eyes, Yang Feng erupted with intermediate bright world warlock rank fluctuations of power, blurred, and appeared in front of the black figure. He extended his hand and operated the essence of Devour, and a black hole suddenly appeared in his hand and engulfed the warlock in an instant. Chapter 766. After Yang Feng insta-killed the warlock, he grabbed the shield, and wisps of pure power seeped out of the shield, entered his body, and nourished his fleshly body and soul. Yang Feng grabbed the shield, his heart in turmoil. His figure fluttered, and he flew into the distance. What treasure is this? If the warlock groups known as the 6 warlock dynasties had taken action before, Yang Feng would have turned around and left without competing with them. After all, once a Holy Spirit warlock took action, it would be impossible for Yang Feng to snatch food from the tiger's mouth. But now that the shield was in his hands, Yang Feng naturally wouldn't give up on this shield full of mystical power and origin. As soon as the shield entered his hand, the fate algorithm inside Yang Feng trembled, filled with joy, indicating that the shield is of great benefit to Yang Feng's future. Yang Feng conquered Yu Province and Bright Moon Province and obtained the treasure trove of the Kindred Grand Duke, the treasure trove of the 2 Grade 4 planes, and countless other treasures. However, the only treasure that had received the revelation from fate algorithm was this shield. One could imagine how precious that shield was. Even if a Holy Spirit warlock takes action, even if Yang Feng has to expose countless trump cards, he will take away this shield full of mystical power. Each of the warlock groups of the 6 warlock imperial courts occupied a branch floating continent. As if gods, they overlooked the warlocks below and allowed the warlocks to fight over the treasures on the remaining 2 branch floating continents. A motley crew, they don't even have a bright world warlock. What if I let Alexia and Yu Yen take action and take away the remaining 2 treasures? With a thought, Yang Feng operated the fate algorithm and began to calculate. Countless runes appeared in his eyes, and a projection of the stream of fate slowly appeared beside him. If a warlock emperor like the Time Lord can see the Sea of Fate with the fate algorithm and a Holy Spirit warlock can see the River of Fate, then a bright world warlock like Yang Feng can see the stream of fate, then it is already terrifying enough. Suddenly, Yang Feng's body trembled slightly, his eyes overflowed with blood, and he spat out a big mouthful of blood, his aura suddenly weakened. There was a flash of regret in Yang Feng's eyes. This won't do. Alexia and Yu Yen can easily snatch the 2 treasures. However, that would also attract terrifying enemies. An enemy like that is not in existence that I can resist at the moment. Through the fate algorithm, Yang Feng has vaguely guessed that the Holy Spirit warlocks of the 6 warlock imperial courts are under some kind of restriction. However, if Yang Feng insisted on taking away all the treasures nurtured by the floating continents, then the warlocks of the 6 warlock dynasties would definitely get rid of him. Yang Feng looked at the branch floating continent with some regret. Unfortunately, each branch floating continent is a real treasure trove. If you can occupy it and nurture it carefully, you'll be able to get a steady stream of wealth. The branch floating continents are filled with rich life magic energy. At the same time, there are countless extraordinary plants and extraordinary minerals. Each branch floating continent is a paradise for warlocks far beyond the cloud capital. However, the branch floating continents can only be occupied by tyrannical enough forces. The forces under Yang Feng's command are already considered to be influential in the Zhangji Plain, and are even stronger than the 10 great sects and the 8 great families. But compared to the Great Cloud Dynasty and the Western world's 3 dynasties, they are far inferior. Yang Feng looked at the branch floating continents with regret in his eyes. It's a pity. If this magical tree were to emerge in another few thousand years, then I would definitely have a place on the 9 branch floating continents. If nothing unexpected happens, in another 20 years, Yang Feng will be able to advance to an infinity warlock in seclusion. At that time, he will collect the evolution materials for the level 5 and level 6 strongholds. Once he succeeds, he will have the capital to attack the Holy Spirit Warlock realm. Within a few thousand years, he will be able to promote to a Holy Spirit Warlock. At that time, he will have a place on the 9 branch floating continents. Suddenly, the earth split open, and golden rays of light shot out from the earth. As if tearing apart the earth, a resplendent ray of light carrying terrifying might appeared in front of Yang Feng in an instant. A slender, handsome man with a gold mark on his forehead, a slender figure, and a golden mark on his forehead glanced at Yang Feng contemptuously and said coldly, "Aboriginal monkey of the surface world, hand over the split heaven shield in your hand. Otherwise, die." Yang Feng frowned slightly. The surface world? In other words, you're from the core world? The core world is a mysterious area that only a very small number of warlocks know about. The core world is located in the Zhangji Plains underground, but it is located in a mysterious space of a higher latitude. The Great Cloud Dynasty's underground world and the core world are completely different spaces and existences. In the core world, there exists the essence accumulated by the 8 warlock dynasties, powerful Holy Spirit warlocks. After the collapse of the 8th warlock dynasty, the Dawn dynasty, no Holy Spirit warlock rank existences have come to the Zhangji Plain because there is a group of human Holy Spirit warlocks in the core world. The handsome man said arrogantly, "I didn't expect that a mere aboriginal monkey of the surface world would know about the existence of our core world. Hand over the split heaven shield. That isn't something an aboriginal like you can control. Go to hell." There was a flash of killing intent in Yang Feng's eyes, and he took a step forward and operated the essence of Devour. A Devour black moon suddenly appeared, suppressed the space, and, as if it can devour everything, pressed towards the handsome man. Essence. It seems that I underestimated you, aboriginal of the surface world. It turns out that you have some skill. However, you aren't the only genius in this world. The peerlessly handsome man smiled coldly, and his pinnacle bright world warlock rank fluctuations of life force suddenly changed. As if a primordial dragon that has existed since the eternal era has awakened, an azure dragon emerged, roared, and, carrying fluctuations of world force, slammed its claw into the Devour black moon. Pure and overbearing dragon force, which seems to surpass all existences, broke out in an instant and smashed the Devour black moon with absolute power, and then slammed into Yang Feng's fist. Boom! An incomparably terrifying energy shockwave spread out in all directions, setting off an incomparably violent storm in the air. Yang Feng was sent flying for more than a dozen kilometers and spewed out a mouthful of blood. A dignified look flashed in his eyes, so strong. This fellow is a warlock genius who formed a small world and grasped essence. He is a warlock genius who has found his own path. To run into such a monster-level genius, the core world is really powerful. Along the way, Yang Feng has defeated countless experts of the same rank. This is the first time he has met a warlock genius who formed a small world and grasped essence. The handsome warlock exudes endless fluctuations of dragon force, and true dragon projections surround him, making him look like a dragon god in charge of dragons. He looked at Yang Feng with a proud expression and uttered coldly, "For an aboriginal of the surface to be able to grasp essence, you're a pretty good genius even in the core world. I, the true dragon crown prince, am the young master of the true dragon race, a warlock destined to become the 9th warlock emperor. Submit to me and become my subordinate, and you can follow me all the way to the top. Otherwise, today will be the day you die." Interesting, a mere bright world warlock dares to talk to me like this, what a reckless thing. Yang Feng's eyes shimmered coldly, and he operated the battle demon's secret method, and a white battle demon armor suddenly appeared and covered him. When the white battle demon armor covered Yang Feng, the life force inside him surged frantically, and his speed increased 5-fold. Yang Feng took a step forward, and the world ring inside him extracted world force from the 9 small worlds. The Devour Black Moon suddenly erupted and, as if it has evolved into a huge black hole, crushed towards the true dragon crown prince. 3 dragons unite. When the true dragon crown prince saw the Devour Black Moon containing Yang Feng's true power, his countenance flickered, and he barked. 2 dragon shadows flew out from the 2 treasure boxes on the back of the true dragon crown prince and entered the body of the primordial green dragon. The eyes of the primordial azure dragon lit up. As if it possessed intelligence, it extended its claw and, carrying dragon force that could pierce through planes, crushed everything and slammed into Yang Feng's Devour Black Moon. As if able to devour all power, the huge Devour Black Moon swallowed the primordial azure dragon projection and frantically absorbed the power of the primordial azure dragon projection. The primordial azure dragon projection struggled frantically inside the Devour Black Moon and shrank. Damn it, it turns out that an aboriginal like you is also a powerhouse who formed a small world. Since you dared to scheme against me, then go to hell. When the true dragon crown prince saw this scene, his face fell, and he flicked his wrist and swallowed a monarch-grade secret treasure true dragon bead. In an instant, the true dragon crown prince's body fluttered, and he turned into a 100-meter-long archaic azure dragon shrouded in archaic aura. Exuding infinity warlock rank fluctuations of power, the archaic azure dragon descended from the sky and enveloped in an overbearing essence of power barreling towards Yang Feng. Once archaic dragons reach adulthood, they are glorious dawn warlock rank existences and wield a variety of essences. Among them, the essence of power is an essence that archaic dragons must master. Chapter 767. You have a secret treasure. I have one too. Yang Feng squeezed the ruler magic cube in his hand, and the ruler armor suddenly appeared on his body. The ruler armor with 3 infinity cores inlaid poured power into his body and frantically improved his strength. Yang Feng's figure fluttered, and he appeared in the sky and urged the essence of devour, and 2 black holes shrouded his fists barreled towards the true dragon crown prince. Boom! Boom! The sound of huge explosions rang incessantly, as if heaven and earth were collapsing. In the wake of the fierce battle between Yang Feng and the true dragon crown prince, space distorted and the earth cracked. When the magic fluctuations from the fierce battle between the 2 powerhouses slammed into the ground, they blasted open numerous huge holes. So strong! Is that a bright world warlock? What a terrible monster! The battle between them is almost comparable to that of infinity warlocks. No, even a weaker infinity warlock may not be their opponent. When the warlocks who gathered with ill intentions saw the fierce battle between Yang Feng and the true dragon crown prince, their countenance changed dramatically, and they retreated to the side, not daring to get close. Unless it is a bright world warlock rank powerhouse, even if it is a glorious dawn warlock, if they are careless, they will be killed by the 2 powerhouses. This guy is really strong. He's an evenly matched opponent. But now is not the time to swap pointers. I must defeat or kill him. Killing intent flashed in Yang Feng's eyes, and spatial ripples appeared on his body. A dense swarm of Type 2 Undyings suddenly flew out of Yang Feng and flew towards the true Dragon Crown Prince like a tide. The true Dragon Crown Prince opened his mouth and blew, and violent wind blades turned into a tornado that swept the Type 2 Undyings away. Under the violent wind blades containing the law of wind, the energy shields of the Type 2 Undyings collapsed one by one, and the super alloy armor capable of withstanding a Moonlight Warlock's all-out attack was sliced into pieces. Taking advantage of the moment when the true Dragon Crown Prince was distracted, Yang Feng appeared in the abdomen of the true Dragon Crown Prince in a flash and stabbed with his hands. His hands containing the essence of Devour stabbed into the true Dragon Crown Prince's abdomen and tore open a large hole, and a large amount of dragon blood sprayed out. Some of the extraordinary plants on the ground underwent all sorts of miraculous changes after absorbing the true Dragon Crown Prince's dragon blood. Despicable, shameless native of the surface. He actually found a helper. How shameless. Do you know what the glory of a warlock is? With a roar, the true Dragon Crown Prince operated the essence of power and twisted his body with inhuman agility. The true Dragon Hunt sent a claw containing the essence of power that sealed Yang Feng's escape route. Those are my puppets, just like your secret treasures. If you have the ability, then don't use your secret treasures. Fight me. Yang Feng's fist slammed into the true Dragon Crown Prince's claw, and a violent force erupted in an instant and sent the true Dragon Crown Prince flying by a dozen-plus meters. The wreckage of the Type 2 Undyings in midair suddenly flew up and instantly condensed in midair. They turned into streams of light, shot towards the true Dragon Crown Prince, and slashed with their swords. Along with flashes of light, 3-centimeter-deep wounds appeared on the true Dragon Crown Prince's dragon scales. These mechanical golems are really troublesome. A look of fear flashed in the true Dragon Crown Prince's eyes. He opened his mouth and spurted a cyan dragon's breath that enveloped the Type 2 Undyings. In the wake of the cyan dragon breath, the Type 2 Undyings exploded and turned into powder, unable to regenerate. When the true Dragon Crown Prince's power was divided, Yang Feng's figure fluttered, and he appeared on his back and punched the true Dragon Crown Prince's dragon scales. The essence of Devour surged and frantically devoured the true Dragon Crown Prince's flesh and blood. Damn native of the surface world, I'll remember you. What's your name? The true Dragon Crown Prince suddenly issued a cry of pain, then turned into a dragon and soared into the sky. Surrounded by clouds and mist, he roared at Yang Feng like a dragon god who wields the power of thunder and rain and can unleash a monstrous flood with a thought. The true Dragon Crown Prince is a top warlock genius. Although he was seriously injured by Yang Feng twice in a row, but he understands that he is not Yang Feng's opponent, and so he chose to withdraw from the fight. Yang Feng frowned slightly, pondered for a while, and then uttered decisively, "Undying Mountain, no, Battle Demon Sect's Great Elder Yang Feng." Since the Dawn Lord can find out Yang Feng's background, it means that most of the Undying Mountain's background has been exposed to top warlock groups. There is no value in concealing it. The eyes of the true Dragon Crown Prince hidden in the clouds shimmered coldly, and he uttered solemnly, "Very well, Yang Feng. I didn't want to use this method. However, the Split Heaven Shield is too important to me. So, Guardians, show yourselves." "Yes. Young Master." 2 Infinity Warlock rank dragon might came from the sky, and an Eastern Black Dragon and an Eastern White Dragon flew out of the void and appeared beside the true Dragon Crown Prince and stared at Yang Feng with their huge dragon eyes. The true Dragon Crown Prince looked at Yang Feng like a dragon god from the clouds and said solemnly, "Yang Feng, hand over the Split Heaven Shield." Yang Feng uttered with a cold smile, "Alexia, Yu Yan, come out." 2 Infinity Warlock rank fluctuations of power gushed out, and the 2 Infinity Warlock rank powerhouses quietly guarding Yang Feng suddenly flew out, appeared behind Yang Feng, and stared at the 2 Infinity Warlock rank Eastern Dragons without showing any weakness. "Let's go." The true Dragon Crown Prince glanced at the 2 Infinity Warlock rank powerhouses Alexia and Yu Yan, narrowed his eyes, frowned, and ordered decisively. With the 2 Infinity Warlock rank powerhouses Alexia and Yu Yan guarding him, Even if the true Dragon Crown Prince uses his trump cards, he may not be able to defeat Yang Feng. Moreover, this is the surface world, where Yang Feng can get a steady stream of support, while the true Dragon Crown Prince only has 2 Infinity Warlock rank guardians. If they fight to the death, the true Dragon Crown Prince and the 2 Infinity Warlock rank guardians will be in danger of dying. Infinity Warlocks, on the other hand, are difficult to kill. But this is based on the premise that Infinity Warlocks come and go like the wind, size up the situation, and flee at the slightest mistake. Yang Feng took a deep look at the true Dragon Crown Prince with excitement and expectation in his eyes. This guy is really strong. If the core world is full of such freaks, that was really interesting. I originally thought that I was already strong enough and should be invincible in the same realm, but it seems like it's not that simple. In the surface world of the Zhangji Plains main world, Yang Feng has hardly met an evenly matched opponent of the same rank. The true Dragon Crown Prince is definitely the strongest genius Yang Feng has ever met. He's actually on par with the true Dragon Crown Prince. Interesting. Looks like the surface world is not that simple. After all, it's a place that gave birth to a Warlock Emperor. It still has some talents. Rumble. Rumble. Amidst the earth-shattering earthquakes, rays of incomparably resplendent light continuously flew out from the underground world. From time to time, gazes swept Yang Feng, Alexia, and Yu Yen beside him, and then flew in the direction of the giant tree. Without stopping, Yang Feng operated a secret method, turned into a stream of light, and plunged into a huge cave with a warp gate. After passing through one warp gate after another, he returned to the secret room in the Bright Moon Province. As soon as he returned to the Bright Moon Province, Yang Feng observed everything that happened in the Time Sky City through a holographic projection. After the forces of the 6 Warlock dynasties seized the 6 branch floating continents, they stood still. The continent in the treetop seems to be shrouded in a mysterious and powerful membrane. When the human warlocks flying towards the treetop floating continents touched the mysterious membrane, they suddenly lost all their strength and fell into the treetop floating continents, never to fly back up again. Most of the human warlocks are shrewd. After dozens of warlocks died, seeing that the warlocks of the 6 Warlock dynasties didn't move, the rest of the warlocks naturally didn't dare to break into the continent in the center of the treetop. The branch floating continents and the leaf floating continents below the treetop floating continents were guarded by the warlocks of the 6 Warlock dynasties. The human warlocks who dared to attack the leaf floating continents were killed by the warlocks of the 6 Warlock dynasties. The human warlocks can only fight over the remaining 3 branch floating continents as well as the leaf floating continents under their jurisdiction. Overnight, a large number of Bright World Warlocks and Infinity Warlocks emerged from who knows where and fought over the 3 branch floating continents as well as the leaf floating continents below them. Yang Feng looked at the warlock groups fighting fiercely, and a question suddenly welled up in his mind: why haven't the forces of the Dawn Lord and the Golem Lord appeared? Could it be that there are some hidden secrets? Human warlocks founded a total of 8 warlock dynasties and suppressed countless planes. Even the weakest Dawn dynasty was recognized as a flourishing and resplendent warlock dynasty that stood above countless planes. In the eras of the 8 warlock dynasties, experts were as common as clouds. In each era, more than 30 human Holy Spirit warlocks were born. Chapter 768. Any Holy Spirit warlock is the guardian god of a higher race, a powerful existence that can shelter a race. God Blood Plane is one of the 36 primary material planes, yet it has only given birth to 9 true ancestors. From this, it can be seen how powerful and rare Holy Spirit warlocks are. Every human warlock imperial court will give birth to more than 30 Holy Spirit warlocks, which is a heaven-defying number. Holy Spirit warlocks are the wings of warlock emperors, and they are the foundation for powerful warlock emperors to control countless planes. When the Golem Lord and the Dawn Lord came into being, they had more than 30 Holy Spirit warlocks as subordinates. The other 6 warlock dynasties have continued in the Zhangji Plains core world, but the Golem dynasty and the Dawn dynasty haven't. This gives people a very strange feeling. Yang Feng stared at the branch floating continents and mused, the Dawn Lord only has a Supreme God avatar left. In their divine country, a top Supreme God can rival a Warlock Emperor rank powerhouse. But that's all. It's normal that he doesn't dare to come. Since the Golem dynasty's powerhouses don't dare to come, there must be something I don't know about. Through the fate algorithm, Yang Feng perceived that the 9-branch floating continents are supreme cultivation holy lands that surpass the cloud capital. Almost no warlock can resist the temptation of practicing cultivation on the branch floating continents. Yang Feng carefully observed the fights surrounding the 3-branch floating continents, and then his heart suddenly stirred. There are no Holy Spirit warlocks or warlock monarch rank powerhouses. In this case, I might have a chance. After Yang Feng obtained the Bright Moon Province, Yu Province, Red Rage Plain, and the Kindred Grand Duke's territory, he obtained a huge amount of resources, and the number of his mechanical legion has increased several-fold in the past 2 years. If a Holy Spirit warlock doesn't appear, then even if it is a warlock monarch rank powerhouse, Yang Feng is confident that he can force the other party to retreat. With a thought from Yang Feng, a swarm of battle robots flew out of the bases, passed through one warp gate after another, and flew towards the mysterious giant tree piercing the sky. As long as there is a glimmer of hope, Yang Feng won't give up the fight for the branch floating continents. This continent belongs to the Breast dynasty. An immemorial spacebreaker dragon whale, which is tens of thousands of meters in length and engraved with countless mysterious runes, passed through the void and descended on a branch floating continent, leaving ripples in its wake. 13 infinity warlocks flew out of the immemorial spacebreaker dragon whale. Armed with secret treasures, they led 72 bright world warlocks, 361 glorious sun warlocks, 1,672 moonlight warlocks, and countless starry sky warlocks to attack the bright world warlocks and infinity warlocks on the branch floating continents. The immemorial spacebreaker dragon whale released a cyan light. Enveloped by the cyan light, the Breast dynasty's warlocks were blessed by dozens of strengthening spells. At the same time, every minor injury they suffered was quickly healed. Shrouded by the cyan light, the warlocks of the Breast dynasty crushed their way forward as if they were a single entity. Wherever they passed, the other warlocks would either flee or be blown up. When the warlocks on the branch floating continents saw the Breast dynasty descend, they cast various secret methods and escaped from the branch floating continents. Yang Feng watched the Breast dynasty crush their way forward, and a scorching shade flashed in his eyes. 13 infinity warlocks, 72 bright world warlocks, 361 glorious sun warlocks, and 1,672 moonlight warlocks. Coupled with the warlocks on the spacebreaker dragon whale, it seems that the Breast dynasty has mobilized all its elites. If that's all they have, then I can mobilize all my forces and barely fight them. In the past 2 years, the number of transcendent rank experts under Yang Feng's command hasn't increased by much. But the number of 4th-generation battle robots has exceeded 6 million. Coupled with the hundreds of millions of strengthened 3rd-generation battle robots, if it's a positional battle, Yang Feng has the power to fight the Breast dynasty's elites. This continent belongs to the Beijing dynasty. A massive white mountain emerged out of thin air, then descended onto one of the floating continents. 15 infinity warlocks, 36 bright world warlocks, 152 glorious sun warlocks, 2,132 moonlight warlocks, and countless starry sky warlocks and great warlocks flew out from the white mountain and attacked the remaining warlocks. The white sacred mountain radiated light full of an ancient and sacred aura. Illuminated by the white light, the warlocks of the Beijing kingdom were blessed by dozens of strengthening spells. Like wolves and tigers, they cast world-shaking spells barreling towards the surrounding warlocks. The torrent of spells crushed all the warlocks blocking their way and turned them into a mist of blood that scattered in all directions. This continent belongs to the Catered dynasty. A 7-colored rainbow descended from the sky, piercing through the void before piercing into the final branch floating continent. A huge castle was pulled by 8 western primordial dragons through the rainbow. It strangely traversed the endless distance and appeared on the last branch floating continent. 11 infinity warlocks, 63 bright world warlocks, 369 glorious sun warlocks, 1,963 moonlight warlocks, and countless starry sky warlocks and great warlocks flew out of the huge castle and attacked the remaining human warlocks. A gold light screen also shot out from the huge castle. Enveloped by the gold light screen, the warlocks received terrifying enhancements and defeated the warlocks of the other major forces. Countless warlocks cast secret methods, turned into streams of light, and flew away from the floating continent. However, the warlocks didn't leave. Instead, they gathered together, and soul ripples permeated the space, conveying information. The Brest dynasty, the Bajor dynasty, and the Kader dynasty are indeed extremely powerful. They can crush any warlock group present. But after all, the three dynasties didn't have invincible and terrifying strength like the 6 warlock dynasties. If the warlock groups present could unite, then they could tear the 3 dynasties to pieces. One after another, rays of light flew over from afar, and one after another, infinity warlock rank powerhouses that ordinary people rarely see in their lifetime flew over, gathered around the branch floating continents, and stared coldly at the 3 remaining branch floating continents. Undisguised, powerful life force fields diffused from the infinity warlocks and combined with the surrounding life magic energy, forming all kinds of strange phenomena. Because there are too many powerful warlocks gathered in that area, it formed a high-energy area. Any existence below the level 1 warlock rank will be killed and become part of the freaks as long as they get close to the high-energy area. No one dared to covet the branch floating continent occupied by the warlock groups of the 6 great warlock dynasties. After all, the might of the 6 great warlock dynasties shook the world and suppressed countless planes. Moreover, the branch floating continents where the 6 warlock dynasties are located exudes faint wisps of Holy Spirit warlock rank aura. In the Tsangji plane, a Holy Spirit warlock can suppress the surrounding warlocks. Therefore, the warlock groups naturally don't dare to clash with the 6 warlock dynasties' warlock groups. Endless malice reverberated among the warlock groups, undercurrents surged, and frigid killing intent accumulated. Yang Feng's mechanical legion quietly rushed over from different places, lurked around the giant tree, and locked on the 3 branch floating continents. Yang Feng previously gave up on occupying the 3 branch floating continents because he was afraid of Holy Spirit warlocks. Once a Holy Spirit warlock rank powerhouse takes action, any warlock occupying the branch floating continents will die. Now that the 6 warlock dynasties' warlock groups are silent, and the legendary Holy Spirit warlocks hiding in the core world haven't shown up, Yang Feng has some speculations. The appearance of the 3 dynasties further corroborated Yang Feng's speculations. This ignited the flames of ambition in him again. At this moment, the void distorted. A huge dragon ship that was 10,000 meters long and 1,000 meters tall flew over from the distance. It was pulled by 9 eastern golden dragons. An incomparably powerful aura spread out from the dragon ship. That's the 9-dragon boat of the Great Cloud Dynasty. The Great Cloud Dynasty finally made a move. It can't be helped. After all, the branch floating continents are extremely important to human warlocks. If the Great Cloud Dynasty can't occupy a branch floating continent, it won't be qualified to continue to dominate the Eastern world. The surrounding warlocks stared at the huge 9-dragon boat with a dignified look in their eyes. The Great Cloud Dynasty is the most powerful warlock group in the surface world, and it has many experts under its command. As the Time Sky City is within the sphere of influence of the Great Cloud Dynasty, it is much faster and more convenient for the Great Cloud Dynasty to mobilize experts and elite troops than other forces. This branch floating continent belongs to the Great Cloud Dynasty. Warlocks of the Kader Dynasty, please leave this place at once, or we'll fight. Bai Wuqing, who is dressed in a black armor and exudes an overlord aura, is standing on the 9-dragon boat. Dragon Chi surged behind him, and fearsome auras spread in all directions. Behind Bai Wuqing, there are 36 Infinity Warlocks, and 36 Infinity Warlock rank auras soared into the sky. Chapter 769. Yang Feng looked at the Infinity Warlocks with a cold look in his eyes. For the branch floating continent, the Great Cloud Dynasty is really going all out. To transfer so many Infinity Warlocks. Infinity Warlocks are not cabbages. They are top powerhouses in any world. In theory, Infinity Warlocks are powerhouses of the same rank as strong Divine Force rank gods. The most famous Infinity Warlocks in the Great Cloud Dynasty are the 3 Grand Ministers and 9 Ministers, the 8 Marshals, the 13 Grand Princes, the 4 Demon Marshals, the Secret Treasure Division's Division Chief, the Demon Hunting Division's Division Chief, and the other Plane Development Division's Division Chief. In addition, there are also 15 Infinity Warlocks recruited by the Great Cloud Dynasty. The 55 Infinity Warlocks have to guard the vast world of warlocks known as the Great Cloud Dynasty. At the same time, they have to suppress the other planes conquered by the Great Cloud Dynasty, guard against God Blood Planes' true blood kindred, Hellions hidden among human warlocks, suppress the countless other races in the demonic realm, and seal abyssal rifts. Each place requires Infinity Warlocks to be completely suppressed. By transferring 33 Infinity Warlocks to fight over the branch floating continent, the Great Cloud Dynasty is clearly going all out. Once the 33 Infinity Warlocks leave their encampment, many restless races are bound to take the opportunity to stir up trouble. A handsome man with blonde hair, a burly figure, and a great sword in hand walked out of a huge castle, stared at Bai Wuching standing on the 9-dragon ship, and said solemnly, "Your Majesty Bai Wuching. As long as you leave here today, the Kader dynasty will cede the Rand province and the Wakey province to the Great Cloud dynasty." The Kader dynasty is a dynasty formed from 20 provinces. The Rand province and the Wakey province are equivalent to 1/10 of the Kader dynasty's territory. For the branch floating continent, the Kader dynasty is even willing to give the Great Cloud dynasty 2 greater province fiefs. Bai Wuching pointed a huge black rod at Queresta and said solemnly, "Queresta. The Great Cloud Dynasty is determined to get that continent. Get out of the way, or fight me." The 9-dragon ship flashed, and a ferocious-looking backed fiend exuding Infinity Warlock rank fluctuations of power flew out of the 9-dragon ship. Immediately afterward, a 1,000-meter-long magic note astral dragon-winged 9-tailed scorpion covered in a purple carapace, with huge dragon wings and 9 scorpion tails on its back, exuding Infinity Warlock rank fluctuations of power suddenly appeared. A 10,000-meter-long flaming ancient giant shrouded in endless flames flew out of the 9-dragon ship. One after another, Infinity Warlock rank weapons flew out of the 9-dragon boat, each of which exudes a fearsome life force field. Before long, 152 Infinity Warlock rank weapons exuding Infinity Warlock rank fluctuations of power appeared in the void, as if occupying and suppressing the void. Only an orthodox dynasty like the Great Cloud Dynasty that has occupied the Tsangji Plains eastern world for more than 10,000 years can possess 152 Infinity Warlock rank weapons. Although the Infinity Warlock rank weapons are far from being comparable to true Infinity Warlocks, but when the 152 Infinity Warlock rank weapons join forces, even a Warlock Monarch rank existence would have to give way. Otherwise, if they are careless, they will be suppressed. Even if the Battle Demons sect and the other 10 great sects and 8 great families use all their strength, each force can take out a dozen Infinity Warlock rank weapons at most. Looking at the 152 Infinity Warlock rank weapons, Quaranta's pupils constricted, his eyes shimmered with a dignified shade, and he said solemnly, "Your Majesty Bai Wuching, I am not the monarch of the Kader dynasty, and I have no right to make decisions on behalf of the Kader dynasty. I will ask His Majesty for instructions. Please wait a moment." Since Bai Wuching mobilized 152 Infinity Warlock rank weapons, it shows that he has made up his mind to cut off all means of retreat. The 33 Infinity Warlocks and 152 Infinity Warlock rank weapons already represent the top forces of the Great Cloud Dynasty. After all, the Kader dynasty is far away from the Eastern world. For them to be able to transfer 11 Infinity Warlocks in a hurry is already their limit. The preparation of these weapons cannot compare to that of the Great Cloud Dynasty at all. If the two sides fight, the Kader dynasty will lose without a doubt. Filled with dignity, Bai Wuching issued an ultimatum indifferently, 2 minutes. I will only wait for 2 minutes. If you still haven't made a decision after 2 minutes, then you are my enemy. If you still haven't made a decision after 2 minutes, then you are my enemy. The Great Cloud Dynasty has shown overwhelming strength, which is why Bai Wuqing chose to negotiate to avoid the losses of the Great Cloud Dynasty's attack on the Catered Dynasty. Although Bai Wuqing is somewhat obstinate and self-opinionated, but he still has the air of a wise monarch. Quaranta frowned slightly, and then flew into the castle. "I'll let you have this floating continent. I hope you can hold it." A dozen seconds later, the Catered Dynasty's castle suddenly flew out and landed tens of kilometers away from the branch floating continent. Evidently, it has no intention of leaving. The Great Cloud Dynasty's nine-dragon ship flew into the floating continent originally occupied by the Catered Dynasty. "That's the Nangong family." Yang Feng willed, and a large amount of information filtered by the optical computer and filtered out the information he wanted. The nano-armor of a Type 2 Undying Twisted took the appearance of young Master Lei Ming, and flew towards the Nangong family's warship. Undying Mountain's Lei Ming requests an audience with brother Nangong Wumi. When Yang Feng flew near the Nangong family's warship, a soul fluctuation enveloped the warship like a tide. Undying Mountain's Lei Ming. It's that Undying Mountain's young master. The Undying Mountain's young master Lei Ming who occupied the Bright Moon province, the Ligui province, and the Yu province. On the Nangong family's warship, the Nangong family's warlocks looked at Yang Feng with awe in their eyes. In the Zhangji Plains surface world, the Undying Mountain is recognized as a terrifying force second only to the Great Cloud Dynasty. Even Marshal Yu Yan, one of the Great Cloud Dynasty's 8 marshals, has joined the Undying Mountain. The fearsome Mechanical Legion has crushed countless powerful enemies along the way. Although the Nangong family is one of the 3 great families still loyal to the Great Cloud Dynasty, but in private, the friendship between Nangong Wumi and Yang Feng is pretty good. The handsome Nangong Wumi walked out of the warship, looked at Yang Feng with a complicated gleam in his eyes, and said solemnly, "Greetings, Grand Duke of the North." Nangong Wumi is still a glorious Dawn Warlock and working hard to break through to the Bright World Warlock realm. Yang Feng, however, has broken through the Godman boundary, and his soul aptitude has advanced to inferior level 9. He has truly become a top powerhouse in the Zhangji Plain, which makes Nangong Wumi jealous. Yang Feng said with a smile, "Nangong, I came here to request an audience with the Nangong family's patriarch. Please introduce me." Nangong Wumi showed a smile, "No problem." With Yang Feng's current identity as the Grand Duke of the North, he can request an audience with the Nangong family's patriarch in person. But by going through Nangong Wumi, he is giving the Nangong family some face. The interior of the warship was enchanted with spatial spells, making it extremely spacious. It was as if it was a self-sufficient city that had everything one needed. In a room of a luxurious villa in the center of the city, there sits a handsome middle-aged man in a silver warlock robe. He is the Nangong family's patriarch, Nangong Sheng. Yang Feng said, "Undying Mountain's Lei Ming greets the Nangong family's patriarch." Nangong Sheng asked flatly, "Grand Duke of the North, what brings you here?" Yang Feng answered, "I hope to form an alliance with the Nangong family's patriarch to attack a continent together." There was a flash of ridicule in Nangong Sheng's eyes, and he sneered, "With just your Undying Mountain, you want to covet a continent? You're overestimating yourself. Please leave, the Nangong family doesn't welcome you." Yang Feng frowned and said coldly, "In that case, I'll take my leave." With that, Yang Feng's figure fluttered, and he flew outside. Looking at Yang Feng's departing back, a cold ray flashed in Nangong Sheng's eyes, and he said coldly, "Wumi, don't associate with a bandit like the Undying Mountain's Lei Ming in the future. Otherwise, once His Majesty gets angry, the Nangong family will be in danger of being destroyed." Nangong Wumi frowned and said unhurriedly, "Yes. Patriarch." As soon as Yang Feng left the Nangong family, he flew towards the Zhao family and entered the deepest part of the Zhao family's warship. In a palace on the Zhao family's warship, a handsome young man with a slender figure and a somewhat feminine look, dressed in a silver warlock robe, is sitting on a silver sofa surrounded by a dozen-plus beautiful women of different races. The handsome young man with a somewhat feminine look is the Zhao family's patriarch Zhao Yi, a peerless genius who has already cultivated to the Bright World Warlock rank at the age of 600. He is known as the Night Fox. He is the true ruler of the Zhao family, and he can even mobilize the Zhao family's 2 infinity warlocks. Zhao Yi glanced at Yang Feng indifferently and asked flatly, Lei Ming, what brings you here? Yang Feng's eyes flickered, and he uttered solemnly, I want to join forces with your 5 families to plot a floating continent. Zhao Yi uttered flatly, sure enough, great minds think alike. I have already contacted the Wang family, the Jiang family, the Shintu family, and the Song family, and they have agreed to the alliance. However, even if the 5 families join forces and you join forces, we still won't be strong enough. Brest dynasty and Bajor dynasty are powerful dynasties in the Western world, overlords of this world. Even if Yang Feng and them join forces, they may not be able to defeat any one of them. Yang Feng said, then what about the Battle Demon sect, the Bright Moon School, the Saint Demon sect, and the Star River sect? Chapter 770. Zhao Ye's eyes shimmered brightly, and he looked at Yang Feng with an enigmatic smile and said, sure enough, there is a Battle Demon sect. In that case, Lei Ming, you should be the true disciple of the Battle Demon sect, Yang Feng. Am I right? Yang Feng. It can't be. Yang Feng. Wasn't he just a moonlight warlock not long ago? How did he become Undying Mountain's young master Lei Ming? The beauties by Zhao Ye's side all had looks of shock on their faces. Yang Feng is indeed an influential figure in the Great Cloud Dynasty. In the Time Sky City, he defeated the supreme geniuses of the Western world in one fell swoop, stepped into the Moonlight Warlock realm, and became a transcendent rank powerhouse. However, no matter how much of a genius Yang Feng is, he is just a Moonlight Warlock. He is not on the same level as the Bright World Warlock rank young master Lei Ming. One was merely a genius with potential, while the other was a peerless expert whose name shook the world and caused countless people to tremble in fear. Although the beauties by Zhao Ye's side had absolute trust in their master, they were still shocked by the truth and were in disbelief. Yang Feng uttered with a faint smile, as expected of the Night Fox, one of the most outstanding sages of the Great Cloud Dynasty. That's right, I am the demon-fighting sect's true disciple Yang Feng. Night Fox Zhao Yi is recognized as one of the smartest people in the Great Cloud Dynasty. The 2 infinity warlocks of the Zhao family are far stronger than Zhao Yi, yet they are still willing to listen to his orders because his extraordinary wisdom far exceeds his strength. Zhao Yi closed his eyes, and he exuded a mysterious, sacred, and inhuman aura. Runes appeared in his eyes, and he made deductions beyond the infinity warlock rank, the Battle Demon sect, the Bright Moon School, the Saint Demon sect, and the Star River sect. How much power can they mobilize? Yang Feng said, the Battle Demon sect has 2 infinity warlocks, the Saint Demon sect has 1 infinity warlock, the Star River sect has 1 infinity warlock, and the Bright Moon School has 1 infinity warlock. Most of the forces of the Battle Demon sect and the other 3 sects have left the Zhangji plain. Wanting to mobilize them in a hurry is tantamount to wishful thinking. The 5 infinity warlocks are all the remaining forces of the 4 sects in the Zhangji plain. Zhao Yi muttered to himself, not enough. Even if they joined forces, it wouldn't be enough to defeat the Brest dynasty. Even if we are lucky enough to defeat the Brest dynasty, we won't have the strength to deal with the other hungry wolves. When Zhao Yi saw Yang Feng's confident look, his eyes lit up slightly, and he revealed a trace of a smile. That's right. There are so many warlock groups here. As long as we become the most powerful one, we can attract the other warlock groups to join our alliance. As long as we can control the alliance, we will be able to obtain the greatest benefits. Yang Feng's eyes flashed with a peculiar glint, and he revealed a trace of a smile. No, we can play a bit bigger. At this moment, the void trembled. In the sky, a star tore through the void, as though it had traversed an endless distance, slowly flying out from the void. An incomparably terrifying saint's might gushed out from the star, enveloping the earth. This floating continent belongs to the puppet dynasty. Otherwise, all of you will become the puppets of our puppet dynasty. The star flew to a floating continent, and all kinds of golems flew out of the star and coldly stared at the warlocks of the Bajor dynasty. Strands of strange and unimaginable puppet power spread out from the various puppets. Golem Dynasty. That's the Golem Lord's Golem Dynasty. The Golem Dynasty also appeared. Those are golems, there are living golems among them. When the surrounding warlocks saw the star, their faces changed dramatically at once, and they retreated in different directions. The living golems of the Golem Dynasty are extremely terrifying. Like a virus, their queer golem force can quickly spread and erode a race. In his later years, every time the Golem Lord passed by a plane, that plane would turn into countless lifeless golems. It's like the end of the world, leaving people despairing. Among the 8 warlock emperors, the Golem Lord may not be the strongest, but he is definitely the one who has killed the most intelligent life forms. The holy mountain of the Bajor dynasty shone and absorbed the warlocks of the Bajor dynasty. Then, it trembled slightly, turned into a stream of light, and flew out of the floating continent. Although the Bajor dynasty is one of the 3 dynasties of the Western world, but compared to the Golem dynasty, the gap is like that between a true dragon and an ant. If the Golem dynasty can survive, then even if there is only one Holy Spirit warlock left, it can still sweep through the Bajor dynasty. They can't even muster the will to resist. Zhao Ye's face flickered, and his eyes shimmered with a dignified shade, the Golem dynasty. In that case, we only have the Brest dynasty left to challenge. Although there is a blood feud between the 3 dynasties of the Western world, but they are of the same origin after all. At such a critical time, they are bound to band together. Once they band together, we won't stand a chance. Zhao Ye's words have just fallen, when the castle of the Kalister dynasty and the holy mountain of the Bajor dynasty turned into 2 streams of light and entered the branch floating continent occupied by the Brest dynasty. The joint defense of the 3 dynasties is impregnable. Even if a warlock monarch-ranked powerhouse went to the branch floating continent alone, they would only be defeated. Zhao Yi frowned slightly and said unhurriedly, "We don't have a chance. If the 3 dynasties of the Western world join forces, even the Great Cloud dynasty won't be their opponent. As long as the 3 dynasties are given a bit of time, they will be able to transfer experts and resources from the Western world to defend themselves. By then, the Great Cloud dynasty will only end up in a dead end. I, Lei Ming of the Undying Mountain, hope to become a minion of the Golem dynasty. I am willing to die for the Golem dynasty." The outer armor of a Type 2 Undyings twisted, changed into Yang Feng's appearance, flew to the branch floating continent occupied by the Golem dynasty, and uttered respectfully. One after another, huge warships suddenly appeared in the void. The densely packed main battle robots swarmed over from all directions like a tidal wave. The 2 Infinity Warlocks Alexia and Yu Yen also exuded Infinity Warlock rank fluctuations of power and spread in all directions. Undying Mountain. That's the Undying Mountain's Lei Ming. What a cunning fellow, to surrender so decisively. The Undying Mountain is a powerful force in the Zhangji Plains surface world to begin with. Now that it has sided with the Golem dynasty, the Golem dynasty is like a tiger that has grown wings. No one can control it anymore. That's the Blazing Angel Alexia and Marshal Yu Yen. They are both Infinity Warlock ranked powerhouses. Ordinary Infinity Warlocks are not their opponents. The Warlock stared at the dense swarm of battle robots with dignified looks in their eyes. Undying Mountain's Lei Ming. How hateful, he deserves to die. Aboard the 9-dragon boat, Bai Wuqing took a deep look at Yang Feng, and his eyes shimmered with frigid killing intent, and he uttered coldly. The Infinity Warlocks aboard the 9-dragon boat looked at each other without saying a word. Undying Mountain occupied Bright Moon Province, Yu Province, and Ligui Province, and colluded with Great Cloud Dynasty's 5 great families to form a terrifying alliance. Undying Mountain's Lei Ming, since your Undying Mountain has pledged allegiance to my puppet dynasty, I will not allow you to do so. If that's the case, dynasty will grant the Undying Mountain a floating continent. An incomparably resplendent ray of light flew out from that planet and shone on a leaf-floating continent. Thank you, Your Majesty. Yang Feng responded respectfully, and the huge fleet flew into the leaf-floating continent and guarded the Golem dynasty's branch floating continent as a wing. Zhao Ye's eyes shimmered with a peculiar light, and he took a deep look at Yang Feng and revealed a mysterious smile. There's still this move. With a flash of light, Zhao Ye's true body disappeared. Zhao Yi raised his voice. I am Zhao Yi, the patriarch of the Zhao family of Great Cloud Dynasty's 8 great families. Great Cloud Dynasty's 5 great families alliance is willing to serve the mighty Golem dynasty and become dynasty's minions. Please take us in, dynasty. The 5 great families flew over and gathered next to the Zhao family. The infinity warlocks of the 5 great families released powerful breaths that soared into the sky. The 5 great families joined forces and gathered 9 infinity warlocks and 15 bright world warlocks. They formed a huge warlock group. Approved. I'll grant you a floating continent. A ray of light descended from the sky and landed on a floating continent. Zhao Yi responded respectfully, Thank you, Your Majesty. The warlocks of the 5 great families turned into streams of light and flew into another floating continent. An infinity warlock suddenly flew forward and said respectfully, Your Majesty, we demonic bear heart are willing to become your minions. Please take us in. Your Majesty, we Black Wind are willing to become your minions. One after another, warlock groups from the surface world appeared and chose to submit to Golem dynasty. When the 8 warlock dynasties emerged, all warlocks who were unwilling to obey the orders of the warlock dynasties died. The 6 great warlock groups flew out from the core world. Countless warlocks of the core world flew out, entered the leaf-floating continents where the 6 great warlock groups are located, and occupied one leaf-floating continent after another. After weighing the pros and cons, the warlock groups from the surface world chose to side with Golem dynasty. On the Golem star, one of Yang Feng's avatars looked at the warlock groups scrambling to join him, and the corners of his mouth rose into a smile. The Golem Lord should have been killed, right? He shouldn't mind if I pretend to be him, right? Chapter 771. Great Holy Step powerhouses are really terrifying. Even though so many years have passed, they can still exude such fearsome holy might. To think that warlock emperors are even stronger than Great Holy Step powerhouses, what terrifying existences. Sitting in the center of the Golem star, Yang Feng's clone looked at the left hand of the brilliant Great Holy placed in the center. In the center, there are countless metal pipes inserted into the left hand of the brilliant Great Holy and poured formidable energy into it. At the same time, needle-like pipes inserted into the left hand of the brilliant Great Holy, and countless runes shone and stimulated the left hand to release wisps of Holy Spirit warlock rank might. The Golem star is the relic site of the Golem dynasty that Yang Feng seized in the past, and it has undergone a series of transformations. At the same time, the various golems that flew out of the Golem star are Yang Feng's spoils, and the Golem force that diffuses is the Golem force that Yang Feng simulated using other types of energy. Through the screens, Yang Feng looked at the infinity warlocks who chose to surrender, and the corners of his mouth rose into a smile. The Golem dynasty is really amazing. With just its name, it attracted so many infinity warlocks to join it. However, it won't be that easy to take full control of them. There was a flash of regret in Yang Feng's eyes. It seems that Zhao Yi has already noticed something. Unfortunately, he's still not strong enough. If I was given another 100 years, then with my strength alone, as long as no warlock monarch rank powerhouses or above take action, I would be able to occupy a branch floating continent. The infinity warlocks were shocked and deceived by the name of the Golem dynasty. However, these infinity warlocks are all shrewd people. Yang Feng doesn't know when they will see through him. In the center of the branch floating continent occupied by the 6 warlock dynasties, there floated a palace that had no substance, hovering between illusion and reality, as if it was a world of dreams, yet without any fluctuations of dream force. Even the pinnacle infinity warlocks weren't able to detect the strange palace of nothingness. In the strange palace of nothingness, there are 6 people sitting. One of them was a tall and sturdy young man with a rigid face. He had a meticulous and serious air about him. One of them was a peerless beauty dressed in a gorgeous warlock robe, with a pair of cat ears on her head, a voluptuous and sensual figure, exuding an astonishing charm. One of them was a peerlessly handsome young man whose entire body seemed to be surrounded by countless divine lights and shrouded in a layer of domineering aura. One of them was a peerless beauty with her eyes closed. She wore a long robe with countless stars embroidered on it, and she exuded a mysterious aura. One of them was shrouded in a layer of deathly mist. His body was distorted, making it impossible to see his true appearance. The last person was a handsome young man with long blue hair. He had the characteristics of both the Eastern world and the Western world. The rigid young man frowned and said, "That person actually dares to pretend to be someone from the puppet empire. How audacious!" The young man with long blue hair said with a smile, "Interesting, he has a good eye. He knows that the heaven and earth spirit root contains an opportunity. Even if he pretends to be someone from the puppet empire, he still wants to get a piece of the pie." The peerlessly handsome young man, who seemed to be surrounded by divine light and exuding a tyrannical aura, said coldly, "That little bastard dares to offend the dignity of the 8 warlock dynasties and impersonate a warlock dynasty. He must be killed. Otherwise, more people will come to impersonate the 8 warlock dynasties in the future." The peerless beauty with a pair of cat ears on her head, a sexy figure, and a gorgeous appearance said with a light smile, "No, you can't touch this person." The young man shrouded in divine light said coldly, "Taboo monarch. By doing this, that person has already offended the 8 warlock dynasties. Do you want to protect him and make an enemy of the 5 warlock dynasties?" The 6 people sitting in the Void Palace are the current rulers of the 6 warlock dynasties: the Time Monarch, the Taboo Monarch, the Transcendent Monarch, the Star Monarch, the Death Monarch, and the Magic Note Monarch. Gazes focused on the Taboo Monarch, revealing probing looks. Although Yang Feng fooled most of the warlock groups in the surface world by pretending to be someone from the Golem dynasty, but he couldn't fool the 6 warlock dynasties from the core world, who know countless secrets, and have existed for countless years. For the warlock dynasties, who are very proud of their history, to pretend to be someone from the 8 warlock dynasties is already an affront to them. It's enough for them to punish Yang Feng. The corners of the Taboo Monarch's mouth rose slightly, and she uttered with a charming smile, "This is my lord's will." His will. The countenance of the other 5 monarchs flickered, and they fell silent. The will of the great being behind the Taboo Monarch is not something they can question. Yang Feng's small affront is not enough for the other 5 monarchs to risk offending the great being and make an enemy out of him. The Time Monarch uttered indifferently, "Since it's the will of the great being, then let's forget about it. The top priority now is to ensure the return of the saints." The Transcendent Monarch uttered unhurriedly, "That's right. Everything the great Time Lord saw in the torrent of time has come true over the years. Therefore, the return of the saints is the top priority now." The other monarchs fell silent, and a heavy atmosphere pervaded the air. On the branch floating continent where the Pseudo-Golem dynasty is located, various battle robots have already flown to the branch floating continent and began to build the Skynet defense system. The Skynet defense system capable of suppressing infinity warlocks has already begun to be built. The various components are directly dismantled from other Skynet defense systems and assembled. Therefore, the construction of the Skynet defense system on the branch floating continent is proceeding very quickly. In the center of the branch floating continent, there is a gold lake. Yang Feng slowly came to in front of the gold lake, took out the split heaven shield from his bosom, and tossed it into the gold lake. As soon as the split heaven shield entered the golden lake, it immediately attracted a huge amount of golden lake water into it, nourishing it. The split heaven shield is a treasure Yang Feng seized from the branch floating continent. At the time, he knew that the split heaven shield wasn't fully gestated, and thus couldn't exert its terrifying power. But at the time, he didn't know that no Holy Spirit warlock stepped in to fight for the branch floating continent. Now that the branch floating continent has fallen into Yang Feng's hands, he will naturally put the split heaven shield into the mysterious lake and let it continue to gestate. At the moment when the gold lake boiled, the treasure boxes containing the body parts of the brilliant holy suddenly opened inside Yang Feng's storage treasure, and the parts of the brilliant holy flew out and flew towards the gold lake like raindrops. When the gold lake's water poured over the parts, the parts of the brilliant holy's body immediately glued together and released powerful life force. An incomparably dazzling saint radiance suddenly rose from the golden lake into the sky. A terrifying great saint aura spread in all directions. When Zhao Yi sensed the great holy step breath coming from the branch-floating continent, his face changed dramatically, and his eyes shimmered with a dignified shade. This is Holy Spirit Warlock rank breath, and it's great holy step Holy Spirit Warlock rank breath to boot. Was my conjecture wrong? Is that really Golem Dynasty? Holy Spirit Warlock. So strong, this is Holy Spirit Warlock rank breath, so strong. What a terrifying breath. This is the legendary Holy Spirit Warlock rank. Even Infinity Warlocks can be insta-killed by them. When the warlocks around the heaven and earth spirit root sensed the vast and seemingly endless breath, their countenance changed dramatically, and their eyes shimmered with awe. A Holy Spirit Warlock rank powerhouse can insta-kill an Infinity Warlock with a single strike. Only a dozen plus Infinity Warlocks using special Empyrean grade secret treasures can contend against them. As long as the great holy step Holy Spirit Warlock spends some time and energy, they can kill all the Infinity Warlocks present. Great holy step fluctuations of power. It seems that this little swindler isn't simple. He has the support of a great holy step existence. In the Palace of Nothingness, the 6 monarchs stared at the branch-floating continent with a dignified shade in their eyes. Each great holy step powerhouse is a world-shaking existence. In the 8 warlock dynasties, they are second only to the warlock emperors. Some great holy step powerhouses with astonishing strength can even destroy a race protected by a holy spirit warlock by themselves. No matter what era it is, great holy step powerhouses are among the top powerhouses. The gold holy light shone and, according to a strange law, entered the void. On a hill in the Zhangji plain, a stone suddenly cracked open, and a kidney flew out and disappeared. In the Zhangji plain, in a valley. The ground under the valley trembled slightly, and a 1,000-meter-long giant snake exuding pinnacle Infinity Warlock rank fluctuations of power suddenly appeared. A pained expression on its face, its body twisted, and finally turned into an intestine that disappeared into the void. Standing in front of the Golden Lake, Yang Feng watched as parts of the brilliant Great Holy emerged and merged into his body, and his breath became stronger and stronger. 15 minutes later, apart from his head, the rest of the brilliant Great Sage's body had completely recovered. His entire body was flawless and contained a powerful life force. He gave off a trace of an undying aura and a terrifying saintly might. Chapter 772. Resurrection of the Dead, a great holy step powerhouse is really heaven-defying. Yang Feng saw with his own eyes the parts of the brilliant great holy fly back into his body. At the same time, a powerful life force slowly awakened, and his eyes filled with shock. It was common knowledge in the world of warlocks that the dead couldn't be resurrected. If a warlock was killed, it was never heard of the possibility of resurrection. After the death of a devout believer, their soul would return to their divine country. The gods could make petitioners, angels, and other existences with their souls, which was equivalent to reincarnation. Of course, the gods could also put the souls of their believers back into their dead bodies to prolong their lives. However, this would not only consume a lot of divine force, but the souls of their believers would also be eroded by the decaying bodies. After death, their souls would collapse and disappear. The brilliant Great Holy was a warlock from the first Warlock Dynasty era, and it has been who knows how many tens of thousands of years since then. During that long period of time, even the souls of the 8 Warlock Emperors decayed, and they eventually died. For the brilliant Great Holy to be able to resurrect, this was simply heaven-defying. Yang Feng watched the brilliant Great Holy fly over, and a thought occurred to him. Although it is recorded in the history books that the 8 Warlock Emperors have fallen, but with their extraordinary means, I'm afraid that none of them are dead, or that they aren't dead at all. The brilliant Great Holy had the ability to resurrect the dead. The 8 Warlock Emperors recognized that they were far stronger than the brilliant Great Holy, and their means were heaven-defying. They wouldn't die so easily. Virtually all the parts of the brilliant Great Holy's body have been restored, except for his head. Strange fluctuations suddenly spread, shrouded Yang Feng, and transmitted the location of the remaining head to Yang Feng. Gold threads shot out from the brilliant Great Holy's body, enveloped him, and formed a gold cocoon that sank into the golden lake. This is the location of the brilliant Great Holy's head, as well as his last part. Should I go save him now? Yang Feng's heart stirred, and he quickly gathered all the information he collected about the brilliant Great Holy's life and analyzed him. In the world of warlocks, most warlocks repaid kindness with kindness and enmity with enmity. But when the forest was big, there were all kinds of people. At the same time, there were also warlocks who did things in a disorderly manner, going against the grain and repaying kindness with ingratitude. In particular, warlocks with abyssal fiend bloodline were even more chaotic. Their chaotic nature would make them kill their saviors without hesitation. The deeds of the brilliant Great Holy were quickly filtered out and flashed through Yang Feng's eyes. The brilliant Great Sage was a peerless prodigy from the same era as the Time King. He was also a hybrid of a human and an ancient god and was born with great power. He was one of the 12 great sages who followed the Lord of Time. At the end of the Archgod era, because the Archgods treated all the races of the Zhangji Plain as if they were pigs and sheep, they discriminated against Archgod hybrids who were equally powerful. Therefore, under the leadership of Archgod hybrids with formidable power, humans and the Zhangji Plain's countless races began to rebel against the Archgod's rule. The 12 great saint-level powerhouses who followed the Time King were all peerless geniuses who fought with the Time King for the right to rule the resistance army. Every one of them was the leader of a huge force. At the time, the brilliant Great Sage was also a formidable opponent of the Time Lord. In the end, he joined the Time Lord's subordinates and fought together with the Time Lord. Judging from the recorded deeds, he was an upright man who repaid kindness with kindness and enmity with enmity. After weighing the pros and cons repeatedly and deducing via the fate algorithm, Yang Feng made up his mind to save the brilliant Great Sage. According to the analysis of the available data, after saving the brilliant Great Sage, the probability of him suffering a backlash is 2.3%, and the probability of him obtaining a favorable impression is 97.7%. If the brilliant Great Sage was a cruel, murderous person who would casually refine countless humans into secret treasures, then Yang Feng would never save him. Instead, he would find a way to refine his corpse into secret treasures, or dissect it and suppress it. When Yang Feng checked the location of the brilliant Great Sage's head, he couldn't help but frown. Overlord C, this is the sea where the Dulin Imperial Court, one of the 3 Merfolk Imperial Courts, is located. In other words, the head of the brilliant Great Sage fell into the hands of the Dulin Imperial Court. That's not good. After the collapse of the 8th Warlock dynasty, the 3 Merfolk Imperial Courts took the opportunity to snatch an Empyrean-grade secret treasure, the Sea God Royal Court. The Empyrean-grade secret treasure, the Sea God Royal Court, was forged by the 1st Warlock dynasty's many treasures Great Sage using the corpse of a Warlock Emperor-ranked Merfolk Archgod as well as countless treasures of heaven and earth. It has endless mysteries in the sea. The 8 Warlock dynasties relied on the Empyrean-grade secret treasure, the Sea God Royal Court, to command the Merfolk of the Zhangji Plain. Under the pressure of the Sea God Royal Court, the Merfolk of the Zhangji Plain can only obediently submit to the human warlocks and work hard to open up new territories for them. Once the Empyrean-grade secret treasure, the Sea God Royal Court, fell into the hands of the 3 Merfolk Imperial Courts, even Holy Spirit warlocks would find it difficult to deal with the Merfolk hiding in the endless deep sea. In the name of the Golem dynasty, have the Merfolk of the Zhangji Plain hand over the head of the brilliant Great Sage. Yang Feng pondered for a while, and then shook his head. No. If the Merfolk of the Zhangji Plain concede, then it would be fine. But if they don't concede, and I have no means to punish them, then the prestige of the Golem dynasty will be swept to the ground. If that happens, the Puppet dynasty will lose all its prestige, and this floating continent won't be able to be preserved. The reason why the Golem dynasty that Yang Feng impersonated was able to force the Bajor dynasty to flee in a sorry state as soon as it appeared, without daring to say a word. It was because the Golem dynasty's prestige was so profound that it shook the world. The warlocks who rebelled against the Golem dynasty were all suppressed and reduced to lifeless golems. Although the Golem dynasty that Yang Feng impersonated deterred the warlock groups with ill intentions by unconsciously releasing holy might from the body of the brilliant great sage, but as long as there is a flaw, the rest of the warlock groups will swarm Yang Feng's fake Golem dynasty and tear it to pieces. With a flash of light, Yu Yan, dressed in a tight military uniform and exuding a charming charm, appeared in front of Yang Feng and saluted him. "Lord, you were looking for me?" Yang Feng asked. "If I order the merfolk to offer up their treasures in the name of the Golem dynasty, will they agree?" Yu Yan is Marshal Yu of the Great Cloud dynasty's 8 marshals. She was one of the most outstanding heroines among the countless women of the Great Cloud dynasty as well as a freakish genius warlock. She was extremely knowledgeable and knew most of the Zhangji plain like the back of her hand. She was one of Yang Feng's most valued generals. Yu Yan pondered for a while, and then shook her head. Although the Zhangji Plain Sea only accounts for 3/10 of the entire plain. However, the resources of the entire sea are concentrated in the 3 merfolk imperial courts. The Dulan Monarch, the Sea Dragon Monarch, and the Lega Monarch are all Warlock Monarch rank powerhouses. In addition, it is said that there are still Warlock Monarch rank powerhouses hidden in the 3 merfolk imperial courts, and they enshrine the sleeping Holy Spirit Warlock Demonic Sea Holy. Once the Demonic Sea Holy wakes up, coupled with the Sea God Royal Court, even a slightly weaker Warlock Emperor rank powerhouse can barely contend against them in the sea. Warlock Emperor rank powerhouses are the most powerful existences in the world, a miracle of a race. However, there are also strong and weak Warlock Emperor rank powerhouses. Their souls have decayed to the extreme, and they may die at any time. Compared to the most powerful Great Holy Step powerhouses, Warlock Emperors are only slightly stronger. With the help of the Sea God Royal Court, the Demonic Sea Holy can barely contend against such Warlock Emperors in the sea. Unless the Golem dynasty gives birth to a Warlock Emperor rank powerhouse, or seizes the Empyrean grade secret treasure the Sea God Royal Court, the merfolk will never listen to our orders. Yang Feng pondered for a while, and then said, "I want to get a holy grade secret treasure from the merfolk. Can I exchange for it through trade?" The head of the brilliant Great Holy contains endless mysteries and a part of his soul. If he used the best alchemy techniques, he could definitely refine it into a sage-grade secret treasure. Since the merfolk have the head of the brilliant Great Holy under their control, it is impossible for them not to know its value. Yu Yan said, "The merfolk occupy the vast sea that is rich in resources. Although the struggles between them are very fierce, but they haven't experienced the apocalyptic war during the collapse of the 8 warlock dynasties. Although the merfolk aren't good at creation, but they have collected many powerful secret treasures developed by us human warlocks. After a long time of accumulation, the number of top secret treasures they possess is much higher than that of us human warlocks. It's fine to exchange for some low-grade secret treasures, but it's impossible to exchange for a holy-grade secret treasure." When the 8 warlock dynasties collapsed, not only did the Zhangji Plains human warlocks kill each other, but the powerful existences of the 36 primary material planes also descended to the Zhangji Plain to hunt down the human warlocks. It was a terrifying war that was practically the end of the world. It was because of the 8 near-apocalyptic wars that many of the top powerhouses of the 36 primary material planes and the Zhangji Plain died, leading to the decline of powerhouses and the disappearance of traces. Chapter 773. Yang Feng pondered for a while, and then made up his mind, "It seems that I have to go there myself." Yang Feng has many experts under his command. The 2 powerhouses Alexia and Yu Yan are stronger than Yang Feng by more than a notch. However, Yang Feng is proficient in countless secret methods, and the resources he can mobilize are far more than those of Alexia and Yu Yan. If he wants to infiltrate the 3 merfolk imperial courts, he is far better than Alexia and Yu Yan. The ruler of the night is a top assassin to begin with, and concealment is his forte. Yang Feng's true body, who obtained the divine blessing bestowed by his god clone, can borrow part of the ruler of the night's divine force authority, enabling him to wield all kinds of god power. Yang Feng's eyes shimmered with enigmatic light. However, before that, I have to make preparations first. Feisua Plain. Among the countless stars, there is a star shrouded in endless sea water and filled with countless strange merfolk. This star is the strong divine force rank god sea god Hrihari that the merfolk believe in. With a flash of light, a figure appeared outside the star. The ruler of the night requests an audience with the sea god Hrihari. A voice rang out from outside the star. It was like a thunderclap that entered the sea and set off waves in the sea. The barrier of the star's divine country parted and revealed a passage. The sea covering the star parted and formed a sea blue staircase. At the bottom of the staircase, there is a huge temple full of the unique style of the merfolk. The huge temple is the sea god temple where the sea god Hrihari resides. On both sides of the ocean blue staircase stood many charming mermaids, beautiful clam girls with clamshells on their backs, conch girls with conch shells on their backs, dragon girls with 2 dragon horns on their heads, sea fairies, and all kinds of beautiful mermaids that met the aesthetic standards of humans stood there. In the era of the 8th Warlock dynasty, the Dawn dynasty, the Feisua Plain was also a plain controlled by the Tsangji Plain's human warlocks. On this plane, the aesthetic standards of most intelligent life forms are the same as those of human warlocks. Most of the extraordinary life forms that don't conform to human aesthetics have already been wiped out by human warlocks. The extraordinary life forms that tenaciously survive will evolve in the direction of human warlock aesthetics. Yang Feng walked along the sea blue stairs, stepped into the temple, and entered the depths of the temple. On the throne of a luxurious palace sat an extraordinary-looking middle-aged human man. This god who looked like a human man was the sea god Hrihari, a powerful divine power-level god worshipped by the merfolk. Hrihari looked at Yang Feng with a complicated look in his eyes. When Yang Feng rose to prominence on the Feisua Plain, he was just a great warlock. A casual blow from Hrihari can turn Yang Feng into ashes. In less than 100 years, the ant-like Yang Feng has become a powerful existence on equal footing with Hrihari, which naturally made Hrihari jealous. Hrihari asked flatly, "Yang Feng, what brings you here?" Yang Feng uttered with a smile, "Your Majesty Hrihari, I hope to buy a god armament Sky Fantasy Shin Pearl from you." The Sky Fantasy Shin Pearl was a pearl condensed from the body of an extraordinary life form Sky Shin after its death. It was an existence similar to a human warlock core. Sky Shin were strange extraordinary life forms born from the combination of an Eastern true dragon and a dream world life form nightmare worm. Once a Sky Shin reached adulthood, it would possess bright world warlock rank strength in illusions. Mature Sky Shin pearls possessed infinity warlock rank strength in illusions. The Sky Fantasy Shin pearl in Hrihari's hands was a pearl left behind by a mature Sky Shin after its death. After he obtained the Sky Fantasy Shin pearl, he spent countless years refining and nourishing it, and it became a divine artifact with terrifying power. Hrihari's eyes flashed with anger, and he uttered coldly, "The Sky Fantasy Shin pearl is one of my strongest god armaments. If I lend it to you, my strength will be weakened by at least 1/3. Do you think I will sell you this god armament?" Yang Feng responded with a smile, "I can give you a sea source magic stone, a 10,000-year deep sea 7-leaf green lotus root, a 10,000-year sea dragon blood essence stone, and a vial of infinity warlock rank sea dragon king blood essence. With these treasures, if you abandon your divine country and go to another plane in the future, you can quickly cut off your connection with the Feisua plane, save your life, and possess junior infinity warlock rank strength. Sea source magic stone, 10,000-year deep sea 7-leaf green lotus root, 10,000-year sea dragon blood essence stone, and infinity warlock rank sea dragon king blood essence are Yang Feng's spoils of war. They are already extinct treasures on the Feisua plane." After hearing Yang Feng's offer, Hrihari's heart stirred. Gods are indeed very powerful. But at the same time, they are subject to the constraints of the plane origin will and the plane's believers. They are far less free than human warlocks. Once they encounter an enemy they cannot match, it will be very difficult for a god to abandon their plane and flee to another plane. A moment of carelessness, and they will die on the way. This was because the longer they were away from their original plane, the weaker they would be. The treasures offered by Yang Feng can give Hrihari an extra life, free him from the shackles of the god, and allow him to go to another plane to get a new life. Without the treasures provided by Yang Feng, once Hrihari leaves his identity as a god of the Feisua Plain, he will be severely injured, and even fall. His origin will be severely damaged, and he will become a level 1 extraordinary life form. Hrihari said flatly, "Not enough, these treasures are not enough. If you want my Sky Fantasy Shin Pearl, you must come up with better treasures." Yang Feng responded with a gentle smile, "No, great Sir Hrihari, the price I offer is already very sincere. None of those treasures is any less valuable than the Sky Fantasy Shin Pearl, and they are the treasures you need the most. Please be sure to sell me the Sky Fantasy Shin Pearl. By the way, the Holy Moon Empire has developed a deep-sea warship that can navigate freely in the deep sea. Moreover, in the near future, there may be several infinity warlocks from the Tsangji Plain who will come to visit me. They are very experienced in hunting gods." Hrihari's pupils constricted, his eyes shimmered with anger, and he asked coldly, "Are you threatening me?" Standing in the temple, beautiful female merfolk holy disciples glared at Yang Feng. Yang Feng's eyes flashed with determination. "If you think so, then so be it. I am determined to get the Sky Fantasy Shin Pearl, even if I have to be an enemy of a strong divine force rank god. I want it too." Hrihari's eyes flickered, and he took a deep look at Yang Feng and said unhurriedly, "Okay, I'll make friends with you. Then I'll sell you the Sky Fantasy Shin Pearl. However, we still have to sign a Styx oath. Within 10,000 years, if anyone attacks me, you must come to help me." Yang Feng pondered for a while, and then said, 10,000 years is too long. Besides, even if I come to help you, I will only do so to the best of my ability. If you provoke a warlock monarch or a holy spirit warlock that I can't contend against, I will only try my best to mediate for you, and won't join the fight. A Styx oath is extremely binding. No one is willing to break such an oath easily. Even if it is a god with the divine authority of lies, once they make a Styx oath and break it, they will suffer a backlash. After several rounds of haggling, Yang Feng finally exchanged the treasures for the Sky Fantasy Shin Pearl and left, satisfied. Imperial Father, that Yang Feng is really too much. Why did you agree to his conditions, Imperial Father? In the ocean, our sea tribe is the strongest. We are not afraid of anyone. A beautiful mermaid goddess wearing a pearl hat, a gem dress made of countless gems, long silky blue hair, and skin as translucent as jade shrouded in divine force walked out, stared at Yang Feng's departing figure, and asked Hrihari. The treasures Yang Feng took out are indeed more valuable than the Sky Fantasy Shin Pearl. But he was too aggressive, and even gave the impression of a forced purchase. This made the beautiful mermaid goddess very dissatisfied. She is the intermediate divine force rank god, sea god of war Basana. She has a fiery temper, and she is a warmonger. Hrihari said unhurriedly, Yang Feng was able to promote to a strong divine force rank god in a short period of time and kill the ruler of the night, the god of massacre, the god of fire, and the god of war. His strength is by no means simple. I'm not sure if I can win against him. Hrihari has extraordinary experience, although we merfolk are tyrannical, but human warlock alchemy is even more mysterious. Yang Feng made his fortune through alchemy. Moreover, in the secular world, his alchemy is extremely powerful, and he has countless mystical secret treasures. The low-level merfolk are not the opponents of those alchemy weapons. Try not to clash with Yang Feng. Otherwise, if we're not careful, we'll be exterminated. I know. An enigmatic ray streaked past Bosana's eyes, and she turned and left the palace. After a dozen-plus breaths of time, a figure teleported to the border of the sea divine country, blurred, turned into a stream of light, and flew away. Yang Feng, stop right there. A voice reverberated in the vast starry sky. Yang Feng turned around and saw sea god of war Basana, who is wearing a pearl hat and a gem dress with a trident in hand, traverse the void, and appear behind him. Yang Feng took a closer look and asked, You are sea god of war Basana? Yang Feng has recorded the information of Feisua Plains gods in his database. Apart from some mysterious deities whose true bodies had not been seen for years, he knew all the other famous deities very well. Chapter 774. Enveloped in blue divine light, Bosana has a proud expression on her face, and her beautiful eyes are filled with scorching fighting spirit. That's right, it's me. Yang Feng, you bullied me and forced my father to sell you the Sky Fantasy Shin Pearl. I refuse to accept this. If you have the ability, then come and fight me. As long as you can defeat me with your own strength, I will acknowledge you, and I will no longer pursue the matter of you forcing my father to sell you the Sky Fantasy Shin Pearl. Gods wield different authorities, which represent a certain law of the plane. The authorities wielded by gods are extremely powerful, and their character will be affected by the authorities. The god of massacre, who wields the authority of massacre, is a bloodthirsty and proficient in countless secret methods of massacre. The ruler of the night, who likes to appear at night, is a top assassin. The god of war, who likes to fight on the front lines of war, likes to fight. Without a strong enough godhead, a god will be dominated by authorities. The stronger a god is, the less likely it is for authorities to affect their character. However, even if most gods understand this, they will still let authorities affect their character, which will make it easier for them to grasp authorities and laws, make them stronger, and make it easier for them to advance. As if narrating a fact, Yang Feng uttered calmly, I am a strong divine force rank god, while you are just an intermediate divine force rank god. You have no chance of winning against me. Yang Feng's god clone has absorbed the godheads of 4 strong divine force rank gods, the ruler of the night, the god of fire, the god of massacre, and the god of war. This makes it extremely difficult for his god clone to continue evolving. However, it also endows his god clone with super fighting strength. In Feisua Plane, even the radiant primary god Prados may not be the opponent of Yang Feng's god clone one-on-one. Bosana's eyes flashed with scorching fighting spirit, and she uttered, I know. Come to my divine country. In my divine country, you will be weakened to the same level as me. If you lose, return the Sky Fantasy Shin Pearl to me. As long as you can beat me, I will submit to you. Yang Feng uttered with a smile, if you beat me, I will return the Sky Fantasy Shin Pearl to you. If I win, what's in it for me? Unless you can take out a treasure of the same level as the Sky Fantasy Shin Pearl, or use the treasure I just gave to your father to bet with me. Only then will I fight you with Bright World Warlock rank power. Bosana frowned slightly, and her aura stagnated as she fell into deep thought. The Sky Fantasy Shin Pearl was a treasure that even Yang Feng was tempted to purchase from the Zhangji Plain from the sea god Hrihiri. This treasure is priceless. Even infinity warlocks will go crazy for it. The treasures that Yang Feng just handed to the sea god Hrihiri were first-rate treasures that couldn't be found on the Feisua Plain and could only be found on the Zhangji Plain and other plains. Bosana might be the sea goddess of war, but she couldn't produce such a treasure. Yang Feng smiled maliciously and reminded, Blazing Angel, if you have a Bright World Warlock rank C Blazing Angel, then you can use it as a wager for the Sky Fantasy Shin Pearl. Bosana frowned, Blazing Angel? Will a Bright World Warlock rank Throne Angel do? Throne Angels are superior angels that can evolve to the Infinity Warlock rank. However, their evolution potential is much worse than that of Blazing Angels. As such, they aren't valued by the gods. Every Blazing Angel was a treasure that could only be obtained by the gods every 1,000 or even several thousand years. Yang Feng's god clone already has believers who have transformed into angels. However, he doesn't have a single superior angel, let alone a Blazing Angel. Yang Feng uttered decisively, no. Bosana suddenly fell into hesitation. She has only cultivated one Bright World Warlock rank Blazing Angel by chance, and that's the only one she has. Blazing Angels are her right-hand man, the best weapon of war, and they have helped her defeat many powerful enemies. Angels are the best weapons of the gods as well as the main force for them to develop other planes as a source of faith. Gods can't leave the shackles of their plane. Angels are equivalent to their hands and feet, their swords. Yang Feng tempted like a fiend, if you can find a treasure of the same rank as a Bright World Warlock rank Blazing Angel, then for every treasure you find, I will seal one of the 4 authorities of night, fire, war, and massacre when I fight you. If you can find 4, then I will seal the 4 authorities and fight you fairly with Bright World Warlock rank power. If I use one of the 4 authorities when I fight you, then it'll be considered my loss. How about it? Bosana's heart stirred, and her beautiful eyes shimmered with a scorching shade. Seal the 4 authorities. Yangfeng's god clone wields the 4 authorities of night, fire, war, and massacre. He has no shortcomings in assassination, purification, and frontal combat. Although Bosana didn't say it out loud, but she is afraid of him. If the 4 authorities Yangfeng wields are sealed, then Bosana's odds of winning will more than double. Feisua Plains gods and Sangji Plains human warlocks are in private contact. The gods have eyes and ears and spokespersons in Sangji Plain. The gods already know that Yangfeng is a true disciple of Battle Demon sect, that his true body is just a moonlight warlock. The reports of the gods lag behind, coupled with the misleading information released by Yangfeng, and that he defected to a mysterious force and obtained the help of that mysterious force. Only then did he luckily become a strong divine force rank god of Feisua Plain. If Yangfeng doesn't use the 4 strong divine force rank authorities, he will only be able to wield Bright World Warlock rank power with a mere Moonlight Warlock rank cultivation base. Just like a child holding a sledgehammer, he won't be able to exert his true strength. Bosana glanced at Yangfeng, and a smile appeared in her eyes. This Yangfeng is a peerless genius of Battle Demon sect, a freak who formed a virtual world. However, with his Moonlight Warlock rank battle sense, if he wants to wield Bright World Warlock rank power to fight me, an intermediate Divine Force rank C God of War, then without using the 4 strong Divine Force rank authorities, he won't have a chance of winning. Yangfeng said with a smile, of course, the fight between us won't take place in your divine country. Otherwise, I have no chance of winning. We must fight on land without a sea in astral boundary. With a smile, Yangfeng quietly operated fate algorithm, and queer fate threads wrapped around Bosana. Bosana felt a little relieved. If we fight on land, my strength will be weakened by more than 40%. Is this his plan? However, even so, if his Bright World Warlock rank avatar doesn't use the 4 strong Divine Force rank authorities, I'm confident that I can beat him up. Besides, when he learns my secret, his expression will be very interesting. If Yangfeng doesn't weaken Bosana, she will suspect that Yangfeng is plotting something. Now that Yangfeng has openly proposed to weaken her strength, she immediately felt relieved. Bosana hesitated for a moment, and then said, only have 1 Bright World Warlock rank Blazing Angel. In addition, I also have 1 Throne Angel. 5 Glorious Sun Warlock rank Throne Angels and 7 Glorious Sun Warlock rank Wisdom Angels. Yangfeng uttered flatly, these aren't enough, I only want the Blazing Angel. Bosana hesitated for a moment, and then gritted her teeth and uttered, then I'll bet my divine country with you. In a place that Bosana didn't notice, strange threads of fate, invisible to the naked eye, slowly entered her body. The corners of Yangfeng's mouth rose slightly, not enough. Your divine country is only worth 2 Sky Fantasy Shen pearls at most, which can only seal 2 of my divine force authorities. Of course, if you insist on doing so, I can agree to fight you. Bosana fell into distress. If she wants to fight, she naturally has to win. If she loses, her losses will be tremendous. Yangfeng said in a seductive tone, sounding like a devil tempting others, don't you still have collateral? It's you. If you use yourself as collateral, you can seal 2 of my divine force authorities. In this way, won't your chances of winning be higher? Bosana suddenly realized, that's right, there's still me. Wisps of strange destiny power quietly entered Bosana's body. After all, Bosana is an intermediate divine force rank god. Even though she was hit by Yangfeng's spell, but her mind isn't completely deceived. She took a deep look at Yangfeng, but if I lose, I'll fall into this man's hands. Yangfeng continued to tempt her, as long as you can defeat me, not only will you win glory and dignity, but even the Sky Fantasy Shen pearl will belong to you. That's a pinnacle strong divine force rank god armament. A gambler's mentality welled up in Bosana at once, that's right, as long as I defeat him, everything will be mine. Bosana's eyes shimmered with scorching fighting spirit, and she uttered impatiently, okay, I promise you. Let's sign a contract. Okay. When Yang Feng saw Bosana jump into the pit he dug, the corners of his mouth rose slightly, and a smile shimmered in his eyes. With a flick of his wrist, a gold contract appeared in front of Bosana. Bosana carefully examined the contract. After confirming that there are no mistakes, she signed her name, glanced at Yang Feng proudly, and sent him astral coordinates. This is a celestial body I found while traveling in astral boundary. Have your bright world warlock rank avatar wait here. I'll go invite some witnesses to witness the duel between us. Pity flashed in Yang Feng's eyes, and he uttered with a smile, witnesses? Are they here to witness your defeat? All of a sudden, Bosana revealed a smile full of confidence. They're here to witness your defeat. Chapter 775. Astral boundary. On a desolate celestial body without a trace of life, countless reconnaissance robots are searching around. At the same time, various types of radars are scanning the area, looking for possible hidden ambushes. Nothing unusual. A stream of light descended from the sky, landed on the celestial body, and revealed its figure. It is Yang Feng's true body. 100-meter-long giant leaf boat filled with the aura of nature flew out of the void and hovered 100 meters above the desolate and silent planet. Yang Feng looked at the exquisite leaf boat and saw 7 beautiful goddesses standing on the deck of the leaf boat. The 7 goddesses looked at Yang Feng with curiosity in their eyes. With a flash of blue light, the sea goddess of war Bosana dressed in a blue armor with a trident in hand flew down from the leaf boat and landed in front of Yang Feng. Yang Feng glanced at the 7 goddesses and said with a smile, that is the goddess of the forest Sevilla, that is the maiden of flowers Fran, the goddess of books Yani, the maiden of ice Weena, the goddess of the lake Ida, and the goddess of dance Frederica. Bosana, you really have a wide circle of friends, to be able to make so many friends from different camps. The goddess of the forest Sevilla is a goddess of the elven pantheon. The maiden of flowers Fran, the goddess of books Yani are goddesses of the neutral pantheon, and the maiden of ice Weena is a goddess of the Titan pantheon. The goddess of the lake Ida is a goddess of the Beastman pantheon. The goddess of dance Frederica is a goddess of the Zalia pantheon. To think that the sea goddess of war Bosana can make friends with so many goddesses of different camps and pantheons. Clearly, she has a wide circle of friends and is very popular. Yang Feng, Florence is my favorite mortal chosen. She is the most beautiful dancer among my followers. Will you give her back to me? The tall and sexy goddess of dance Frederica, who is dressed in a red dance dress, exudes amazing charm, has coquettish blonde hair, and has twin peaks nearly bursting out of her clothes, pleaded pitifully with Yang Feng. The goddess of dance, Frederica, was beautiful and pure. She was born with the innate ability of divine charm. Not many male gods could resist her pleas. Yang Feng operated the fate algorithm, and wisps of fate force shrouded Frederica. Frederica, if you want Florence back, then don't be afraid. Take part in the bet between Persephone and me. If she wins, I will give you back Florence, and if you lose, you will give yourself to me. What do you think? Frederica shook her head. No, I never gamble. Yang Feng mused, sure enough, fate algorithm isn't an omnipotent secret method. Bosana had already wanted to fight me, but the fate algorithm caught onto it and amplified her thoughts. Frederica is just a weak divine power level deity, but she has never thought of fighting me. The fate algorithm can't affect her. Fate algorithm is the most precious secret method Yang Feng obtained from the Eternal Continent. This secret method is more valuable than the Battle Demon sect's Battle Demon secret method. Yang Feng has eaten the Feisua Plains apple of wisdom, and his wisdom is comparable to that of a pinnacle infinity warlock. However, it is somewhat strenuous to cultivate the fate algorithm. He can only analyze the mysteries of this secret method by experimenting in different ways. Bosana pointed at Yang Feng with the strong divine force grade god armament dark blue trident and said solemnly, no need to talk nonsense. Yang Feng, is this the avatar you chose to fight? If so, then let's start the fight. I'll let you experience my power. Yang Feng smiled, and wisps of intermediate bright world warlock rank life force slowly spread from him. Yes, the one to fight is me. However, this is not my avatar, but my true body. Shock flashed in Bosana's beautiful eyes, and she exclaimed, "Your true body? Isn't your true body a moonlight warlock? How come you're a bright world warlock?" The gap between controlling bright world warlock rank power with moonlight warlock rank combat sense and genuine bright world warlock rank power is enormous. No matter how talented a warlock is, if they use moonlight warlock rank combat sense to control bright world warlock rank power, they will be easily defeated by a bright world warlock. Yang Feng uttered with a smile, "Moonlight warlock? Your intelligence is too backward. However, most of the true intelligence has been blocked by me. Apart from the top warlock groups and intelligence organizations in the Zhangji Plain, not many people know about me. So that's how it is. No wonder you agreed to seal 4 authorities to fight me. You even tempted me to place bets." Bosana took a deep breath and showed Yang Feng a bright smile. "However, I have a secret that I haven't told you, and that is, I'm much stronger on land than in the sea." Mysterious runes appeared on Bosana's body, and countless weapons such as blades, spears, swords, halberds, bows, and other weapons floated around her and exuded powerful light. In an instant, Bosana appeared in front of Yang Feng and stabbed the trident in her hand towards him in a mysterious trajectory. Battle Demon's secret method. With a thought from Yang Feng, a set of white battle demon armor suddenly appeared around him, and he sent a fist containing the law of power barreling towards the trident with the force of Empty crushing the void. Like a snake, the dark blue trident twisted slightly, pierced through the sealed space, made a turn, and strangely stabbed into Yang Feng's right shoulder, pierced through the battle demon armor with amazing defensive power, and stabbed in. Yang Feng's face flickered, and he suddenly retreated briskly. He frantically extracted world force and burst out with a fearsome force that sent the dark blue trident flying. Bosana frantically burned divine force, turned into a blue ray, and stuck to Yang Feng like a maggot. The dark blue trident in her hand appeared and disappeared mysteriously, stabbing at Yang Feng from all kinds of incredible angles. Bosana burned her divine force and focused it on the dark blue trident. Whenever the dark blue trident stabbed Yang Feng, the fearsome divine force erupted and blasted a big hole in Yang Feng's body. A large amount of blood spilled from Yang Feng's body. Thanks to the formidable self-healing ability of the primal chaos imperishable body, the wounds healed quickly. When the bright world warlock rank blood inside Yang Feng dripped onto the earth was affected by his terrifying life force field, and strange phenomena appeared one after another. The beautiful eyes of the goddess of the lake Ida flickered with extraordinary splendor, and she said with a smile of excitement, "Amazing, Bosana is really amazing. Her martial arts are really strong." The goddess of books Yani uttered with a smile, "Too strong. This kind of martial arts can only be achieved with the blessing of a special authority. It's just that the authority of the sea goddess of war can't be that strong. She still has other hidden divine authorities." The maiden of Ice Weena stared at Yang Feng with a smile on her face. That Yang Feng is also freakishly strong. His recovery rate is comparable to that of our god bodies. No, it's even faster than the recovery rate of our god bodies. It seems that this guy's true body is also very strong. He's not trash. In the sky, several goddesses commented on Yang Feng. On the ground, Yang Feng was forced to retreat step by step due to Bosana's eruption of power. Wounds burst open on his body, and a large amount of blood spilled on the ground. Bathed in blood, Yang Feng frowned and said unhurriedly, "Sea authority? No. What authority is that? How come it's so powerful? On land, the authority of the sea goddess of war should be reduced by 40%. With that doubt in your mind, you'll be defeated by me." Bosana showed a complacent and confident smile, stabbed the dark blue trident into Yang Feng's left arm again, and divine force gushed out and blasted open another huge bloody hole. This authority improves your martial arts in an all-round way. In terms of martial arts alone, I'm not your opponent with the blessing of the authority. However, it's a pity that the loser is still you. Because, I am the strongest. A cold ray flashed in Yang Feng's eyes, and his aura suddenly changed. As if an ancient beast has awakened, the world ring inside him frantically extracted the world force of the 9 small worlds inside him, erupted, and sent a fist flying. In the blink of an eye, the world power of the 9 small worlds formed 9 illusory stars that contain terrifying laws of power. They sealed the void and crushed down on Bosana with peerless might. If martial arts don't work, then crush her with absolute power. Using one's strengths to attack the enemy's weaknesses, this is how warlocks fight. So strong. Is this Yang Feng's true strength? That's a peerless genius who formed a virtual world for you. Bosana's face flickered, and she clenched her silver teeth and frantically burned divine force. Endless divine force crystals burned. Void life forms changed the environment and forcibly formed a sea 10 kilometers in radius around her. Countless angels, saints, and petitioners appeared behind Bosana and chanted hymns of praise. Vast fluctuations of divine force gushed out of Bosana, and she stabbed the dark blue trident into the sky, engulfed the sea water, and turned into a blue beam piercing through the sky barreling towards Yang Feng. Boom! Along with an earth-shaking blare, the blue beam finally collapsed inch by inch. 2 of the 9 star projections collapsed, and the remaining 7 star projections slammed into Bosana. Chapter 776. A copious amount of god blood burst out of Bosana's body and sprinkled on the ground. Beams of blue divine light shone and rapidly healed Bosana's body, repairing it. Maiden of Ice Weena's face flickered, her beautiful eyes shimmered with a dignified shade, and she uttered solemnly, "What a scary guy. His martial arts can't compare to big sister Bosana's, so he crushed her with power. What a terrifying power. This eruption of power is comparable to that of a strong divine force rank god." Among Bosana's several goddesses, Maiden of Ice Weena specializes in combat, so she is more aware of Yang Feng's terror. Shock flashed in Goddess of Books Yanni's beautiful eyes, he's too strong. Even if he is a warlock who formed a virtual world, he shouldn't be this strong. Goddess of Books Yanni's book collection ranks in the top 3 in Feisua Plain. She has read countless books and grasped a great deal of knowledge. Among the 7 goddesses, she is the most knowledgeable. Even he was shocked by Yang Feng's abnormally formidable power. Yang Feng pointed with a finger, and a true god Empyrean imprint engraved with countless mysterious runes and suppressed a large number of transcendent rank powerhouses suddenly appeared. The true god Empyrean imprint exuded the aura of devils, fiends, infinity warlocks, gods, and many other powerful auras. With the power of the 9 small worlds inside Yang Feng, the true god Empyrean imprint expanded and turned into a huge imprint covering an area of hundreds of meters in radius, enveloped by countless mysterious runes, and exuding the aura of holiness and evil. As if carrying the power of 9 worlds, it formed 9 ripples of runes that crushed towards Bosana. Damn it, this guy's true body is so strong. Bosana madly burned her divine power. Beams of blue divine light wrapped around her body, and the seawater turned into flood dragons that shuttled around her, healing her body. This allowed her to recover 80% of her strength in an instant. A look of concentration on her face, Bosana's eyes flickered with brilliant light, and she converged all her power. Like an ordinary person, she thrust the dark blue trident towards the true god Empyrean imprint. When the dark blue trident pierced the rune ripples of the true god Empyrean imprint, the earth-shattering divine might hidden inside erupted in an instant and slashed the rune ripples of the true god Empyrean imprint. Rumble. At the moment when the dark blue trident collided with the rune ripples of the true god Empyrean imprint, a frightening force capable of destroying heaven and earth enveloped the land. Like a fragile eggshell, the ground shattered and rocks flew in all directions, shooting towards the astral boundary. The dark blue trident pierced through the first layer of the true god Empyrean imprint's rune ripples, and then continued to pierce through the second layer and the third layer of the true god Empyrean imprint. Every time the dark blue trident pierced through a layer of the true god imperial seal, a terrifying force came crashing down, shattering the ground Bosana was standing on, and the entire planet began to collapse and shatter. Amazing, your martial skill is really powerful. Unfortunately, his strength was too weak. Suppress. Yang Feng looked at Bosana struggling inside the true god Empyrean Imprint's rune ripples with the dark blue trident in her hand, and his eyes shimmered coldly. He silently recited an incantation and pointed with a finger. The countless rune ripples of the true god Empyrean Imprint turned into countless rune chains that stabbed towards Bosana like sharp rune spears. Inside the rune ripples, Bosana is like a bug stuck in a spider's web. After she brandished the dark blue trident with great difficulty and smashed several rune spears, the remaining rune spears stabbed into her body, and countless runes emerged and quickly sealed Bosana's power. Rumble. Rumble. Boom. Amidst the deafening sounds, the abandoned planet disintegrated, collapsed, and turned into countless meteorites that sputtered in all directions. The abandoned celestial body is even worse than a grade 9 plane. It cannot bear the fight between Yang Feng and Bosana. If a fight between intermediate divine force rank gods took place in Feisua Plane's secular world, it would cause landslides, and countless ordinary people would die. It is for this reason that gods fight in astral boundary. Yang Feng looked at the beautiful and heroic sea goddess of war Bosana, and the corners of his mouth rose into a smile. You lost. With a stubborn expression on her face, Bosana frantically sensed the godhead in an attempt to communicate with it and mobilize divine force. However, countless runes that were as black as ink were wrapped around her divinity, completely cutting off the connection between her and the divinity. She can't mobilize divine force at all. The countless black runes have sunk into Bosana's skin, flesh, and bones, leaving her with earth-shaking power. But her limbs are sore, and she can only exert the strength of an ordinary woman. Bosana tried several times, but she still can't muster a trace of power. A look of disappointment on her face, Bosana sighed faintly. Yes, I lost. I will fulfill my promise. From now on, everything I have is yours. Then let's go to your divine country. Yang Feng smiled and pointed with a finger, and the true god Empyrean Imprint flew out. With a flash of light, countless black rune chains flew out of Bosana and entered the true god Empyrean Imprint. As soon as the countless black runes disappeared, Bosana sensed a powerful force gushing out of her, which made her feel indescribably happy. That godlike power was just like authority, full of alluring sweetness. Anyone who once possessed that incomparably powerful power and then lost it would collapse even a god. Goodbye. After Bosana regained her strength, she said deeply to her 6 sisters, and then turned into a ray of blue light and flew away from astral boundary with Yang Feng. Staring at Yang Feng's disappearing figure, the goddess of dance Frederica waved her little fist and gritted her teeth, saying, "Damn it, that Yang Feng is really annoying. It's not enough that he snatched my Florence, but now he also snatched big sister Bosana. How hateful." Maiden of Flowers Fran uttered with a smile, "Little fool, maybe your big sister Bosana was snatched away by Yang Feng, and she's secretly happy." Maiden of Ice Weena also smiled and said, "Yes, big sister Bosana is proud and arrogant, and she has always wanted to find a man stronger than her. But in Feisua Plain, those who are stronger than her are either old men or enemies. Otherwise, they are opponents or enemies of the sea pantheon. In Feisua Plain, she can't find a man who suits her taste. Since Yang Feng defeated her, she might be snickering in her heart." Goddess of Books Jenny thought for a while, and then said, "From the information obtained so far, Battle Demon Sect's true disciple Yang Feng isn't a tyrannical person. He belongs to the neutral order camp. He controls a tremendous force, and he isn't stingy with his women. Excluding the problem of his excessive number of women, becoming his woman is also a good choice." Goddess of the Forest Sevilla also came over and gossiped. In that case, Bosana got a blessing in disguise. In the eyes of believers, these goddesses are aloof, sacred, and inviolable. Every move of theirs contains great meaning, as if they are omniscient and omnipotent. But in fact, they also have their own joys, sorrows, and sorrows. It's just that their strength is far above that of ordinary people, which is why they appear omniscient and omnipotent. Feisua Plain, in a divine country shrouded by a vast sea. With a flash of blue light, Yang Feng and Bosana appeared in the divine country. Bosana waved her lily-white hand, and blue light shone and entered the sea. The azure sea suddenly churned and surged, and a huge palace shrouded in a blue barrier, covering an area of thousands of square kilometers, slowly rose from the sea. Countless beautiful clam girls, sea elves, and other merfolk petitioners, holy spirits, and sea angels emerged from the sea and bowed to Bosana full of respect and piety. "Welcome back, my lord. May my lord be invincible and invincible." Yang Feng glanced at the sea angels curiously. The sea angels are not much different from ordinary angels in terms of appearance. They also have a pair of angel wings on their back. However, the angel wings of the sea angels are constructed from divine force and part of the authority of the sea. Even though they won't become a hindrance to them in the sea, but will instead become a help to them, allowing them to swim faster. Among the sea angels, there are two angels that stand out from the masses. They exude bright world warlock rank fluctuations of power. Clearly, the two angels are Bosana's strongest subordinates. Of the two sea-blazing angels, one has snow-white skin, a head of wavy blue hair, a tall and sexy figure, and exudes a noble and elegant aura. The other sea-blazing angel had wheat-colored skin and short blonde hair. Her figure was also voluptuous and sexy, but she had a wild beauty. Bosana pointed to the angels with long blue hair and short blonde hair and introduced them to Yang Feng. "Yang Feng, they are my most capable assistants, Marina and Karma." Marina is a blazing angel and Karma is a throne angel. Although they are both bright world warlock rank angels, but Marina's fluctuations of power are clearly much stronger than Karma's. "Marina, Karma, I lost to Yang Feng in a fair fight. Henceforth, Yang Feng is your new master, his orders have a higher authority than mine." There was a flash of reluctance in Bosana's beautiful eyes, and she took out a Sea Angel Pool's control center and erased her soul brand. "You're tuning into the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.